Take a look behind the curtain with a real whistleblower and American patriot. Prepare to embrace the uncomfortable truth because this program has no time for comforting lies. Here is civil liberties enthusiast, Second Amendment defender, and recovering FBI agent Kyle Seraphin.
Boop, boop, boop. Is this thing on? Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Kyle Seraphin Show. Today's Friday. It's August the 7th. I brought my friend Steve Friend along for the ride, and we're gonna have fun because I found out, and I had previously been unaware of this, but two things are true at the same exact time, and there's nothing more fun than finding out that two things can be true at once. Number one, the golden age is continuing, and I've been doing it wrong. So I didn't know that. But MAGA influencers have recently informed me that if I was just more positive and I stopped chasing these negative clicks from all of you that are experiencing negativity and $20 burritos and what other kind of crazy things are out there, if I had just been like optimistic, then the grocery wouldn't be so expensive, dude. You know, what I realize is that me recognizing the financial reality of what goes on in my household, that's just like my opinion, dude. Yeah, so I'm kind of having a Big Lebowski type moment. Meanwhile, we are deporting law-abiding citizens, allegedly, sugar babies, for wealthy and clean-haired, silver-haired men in their 70s. They're losing their live-in maid girlfriends from Venezuela. This is an unacceptable moment. So we're dealing with this contrast here. If I had just been more positive about it, everything would be better. We'd be having mass deportations as long as I define mass deportations to be not mass deportations. It really is the reality that you're willing to frame. And apparently some people are framing the reality very differently than the one that I live in. We're going to have fun with that. Also, Fox Business is wondering, why are the groceries so expensive? How do you square that circle? It's very difficult. We're going to have fun with today's program only because we have no other choice. And I'm going to leave you with some highly inspirational music. Stick around for the end for sure. If you don't always watch our palate cleanse, then I'm going to send you in feeling like it's time to do cardio, even if you don't like doing cardio. Before we get started, it's today's sponsor. This is Patriot Protect. You can find their website. It's patriot-protect.com/Kyle. And if you can't find it, there's a link in the show description below. So all you got to do is go to the show notes, expand them, show me more, and then you guys can find it. All right. Most people don't realize there are hundreds of companies that have taken your information. They've taken your home address and your phone number and your children's names and so on and so forth. And then they give them to Nigerian scammers, or maybe they're Indian scammers, or maybe they're the director of the... No, then just leave that one right where it stands. They Google your name. They can find out where you live. They can find your home address, your email, blah, blah, blah. Then they can jump on Facebook and they can find out who you're related to because you put too much information on the internet, or maybe your wife does. Rein her in. Rein in your friends. Have your family members stop tagging your kids. Anyway, they do it anyway, and so then they find out all this information about you, and then they have your security answers. And if they can find your password or your login information on the dark web, they can sneak in there, reset the accounts, put them back to theirs. They get inside your accounts and empty them. Can cost you an awful lot of money. You're also probably going to get like crappy spam calls like I do every once in a while. Some woman called the other day and said she can have vodka. But it might have been something in Spanish. That's just what the AI translated as. If you don't want to get spam calls and a bunch of other garbage, that was on my public line, by the way, check out Patriot Protect. They can shield your information from these hundreds of sites. They wipe them from the internet. It takes a couple of weeks to make sure these things start dying out, but criminals have less to search for. They eliminate your attack surfaces, and they allow you to take back control, and it doesn't cost very much. That's the best thing. It's an ounce of protection instead of a pound of cure. Once your money's gone, it's gone. With Patriot Protect, it's like $60 or $80 a year, something like that. It's about $5 a month with our promo code. Save 15% on an annual subscription. Look at them. Make sure you guys are protecting your online data. Make yourself less searchable to unsearchable, even if you already have a public persona. This is the way to go. All right, check it out again, patriot-protect.com/KYLE. We're going to get into today's show, and I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Let's go. We got the bacon cheeseburger mug rolling. We've got the, do we have the intro music? I think we have the Steve Friend intro. He gets really excited about this, guys. You don't know this, but Steve Friend gets pretty hyped about his own hype music.
I do. I'm always curious whether or not you're going to demonetized on YouTube like I do for playing the exact same music
No.
every single day on the American Radicals podcast.
I think they know. I think they know because I spend money every year. I just actually got renewed. I went and looked at one of my credit cards. I have a credit card that just randomly has stuff on it that it shouldn't have. Like it has all the toll roads that I hit. And so when I was in the bureau, I had a Bonvoy card, and it was with Marriott. You know,
Marriott, yeah.
You're either a Marriott guy or you're a Hilton guy.
I'm a Marriott guy, or I was, yes.
Yeah. All right. And so I was like a tight. Did you ever notice that the metals were weird? It was like silver, gold, and then platinum.
Yes.
And then titanium, which is way cheaper than platinum. Titanium is not actually that valuable.
Yeah, they need to have add like a cobalt in there or something for the rest of us who are struggling with the price of burritos.
That's the sub silver level. It's like a copper level. They should have copper.
Well, I mean, one of the really cool things that when GOB and I, Garrett Boyle, went down to see the PBD podcast, we had to stay, or didn't have to. They put us up in a Marriott hotel.
Nice. And
we checked in, and they said, "Oh, you are given access to the what's that? The platinum, where you get to go to the concierge and get the free goodies."
Oh yeah, when they have they have like the snacks and they have
I brought the family.
Nothing there you can eat. Nothing you can eat there, Steve.
No.
You're not a.
No, but it was good for the family. My kids could get snacks. And then what I didn't realize, and this is extremely generous of them, they gave it to me for a full year for being a guest on the PBD podcast.
Oh, that is cool. Did you go anywhere on that?
No, I was indefinitely suspended and unemployed.
There's no paycheck. There's no travel. So what the hell was I was giving you a I got distracted by that. Oh, I've got this Bonvoy credit card, right? And it randomly has things on it. And so all of the tolls that my wife and I run up in Austin, which is everywhere you go, we've already paid taxes to build the roads. And so then we get to pay for the privilege of using the roads that our taxes built. So I feel pretty cool about that. But anyway, they all get tagged out there. My wife is so frugal that when we go somewhere, she factors in what the toll costs into the cost. So if we go to like dinner somewhere and it's 15 minutes south, but it has like an $8 toll, then she'd be like, well, it's $4 down and $4 back. So that, I don't know if I should get a drink. I'm like, honey, that's why we're married.
That's right.
I married the woman who's worried about the cheapest things in the world. And then intermittently, she does weird stuff. Like she goes to the grocery store and she'll buy some sort of pre-made meal, which is the opposite of my wife. And if you've ever seen like the crunchiest person in the world turn around and buy like a pre-made, I don't know, like burrito meat plate that's covered in plastic. And she brought it out and she was like, I bought this. And I was like, why? She gave this to me last night. She's like, she pulls the top off and she goes, it says to microwave it in the plastic. Ooh. And I go, yeah. What do you want to do? And she was like, I don't know. It was $8. I'm kind of worried about it. I go, honey, do you want to eat that? And she goes, absolutely not. I was like, me neither. Just put it in the garbage disposal and lesson learned. And by the way, you owe me $8.
That's right.
She was like, I know, I'm so sorry. I was like, I love that my wife is sad about $8, Steve.
I'm desperate to let Madame Fran in on this club because she will come back from shopping at Marshall's and, on the way in, pick up the four or five Amazon boxes that she ordered yesterday. And then she'll tell me about she does her big giant demonstration, right? She's going to try on the clothes. And she's like, guess how much it cost? Guess how much it was supposed to cost? It was 60% off. And I'm always like, well, that means 40% on. It's just something else that you're going to hang in the closet that you're never going to wear. But
Steve, my buddy used to refer to that. He used to say to his wife when she would do this. This is my friend who's been married longer than anybody else I know. My age, at least. Like they got married when they were 19, 20. And he was like, Kyle, we'd be losing money if we didn't buy it.
That's my response every time.
You need to just tell your wife that. She's like, we'd be losing money.
I can't afford not to buy this thing at TJ Maxx.
You can't.
It's pronounced TJ Maxx, but she's, English second language. So she calls it TJ Maxx, which is hysterical.
You've been TJ'd. She got you. All I know is I pay for the music that's in this. So when I Steve friend the music, I think they know. I think YouTube knows or somebody knows that I've already paid for it. And I got hit with it the other day. It used to be $100 a year, which is fine. It's just like I signed up. It's $99. It's on renewal. And then the most recent one was $127. And I was like, oh, the golden age. It got me. It got me for 27% more. They stuck it to me, my man.
You just need to be more optimistic. And that would make the
realize
price go
that.
down.
So let's start with some stories. Fox Business. Why are groceries still so expensive, they wonder? And luckily, what I also really feel good about is when pretty white ladies with nice hair that and dark eyes and dark roots and dark eyebrows, because they're not actually blondes, but they have to be blonde to be on Fox or Fox Business. By the way, look at the thumbnail here of this particular video, which I'm going to play you in 1 second. Look what it says. Can you read it?
Fed grappling with inflation rebound?
No. Look at the Milton Friedman quote in the background.
Oh, inflation is a monetary phenomenon. It is a mode by or shaped by the central bank. Oh, you mean the thing that spends a whole bunch of money that the American people are responsible for via theft? I mean taxation?
It's kind of based. They've got Milton Friedman on there, even though they don't actually argue for policies that have to do with abolishing the Fed. Do you think they recognize that it's going the opposite way? All right.
I don't think they read.
Rather than read this story, and you pointed out something kind of funny about Mike Rogers, the terrorist hunter.
Yes, terrorist
Before
hunter.
we went live, do you want to make that observation real quick? Because I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually partake in the Kyle Seraphin show yesterday and was listening to the I'm a Terrorist Hunter commercial campaign ad for Mike Rogers. And I couldn't help noticing how he was describing how he was sat down by officials, bureaucrats within our intelligence community, and they told him stuff and showed him pictures because apparently he's too dumb to read, which is just on par with, I guess, most Fox News watchers.
Yeah, I don't want you guys... Listen, I was going to read you this story, but I'd rather show it and have a blonde lady read it to you, so we're going to do that instead. And I think that's what we're going to lead off with. Why is this thing showing up so strange? Okay, let me see here. All right, Fox Business. Let's get into it. Here we go.
You know, it's not hard to think about that famous skit from the Three Stooges when thinking about how our Federal Reserve deals with banks, the federal government. It's a weird thing, right? Kelly O'Grady's got more than Kelly.
Charles,
hold on. Who the hell is that guy?
Why are they laughing so hard at the price of groceries?
Did you know that the country is basically broke and we owe $40 trillion that we could never pay back?
But they're being optimistic. This is all that's required.
Okay, so it's all about attitude. If you have the right... Okay, we're going to be very positive. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Okay.
You know, it's not hard to think about that famous skit from the Three Stooges when thinking about how our Federal Reserve deals with banks, the federal government. It's a weird thing, right? Kelly O'Grady's got more than Kelly.
Charles, I wish it worked like that when I owe people money. That's a nice definition of even. But you watch that and it makes you think of the effort by Powell and company to slow down the economy by draining money from it, right? They've tried to do it through higher interest rates, not buying bonds or mortgage-backed assets while allowing those they do own to mature. So on paper, this should have slowed the economy, but it hasn't to the degree advertised. And one reason is the role of reverse repurchase agreements, right? You agree to sell a security, you buy it back at a higher price, and that reverse repo puts money back out there. So look at this, okay? A pot of $2.5 trillion that the banks parked at the Fed has been coming at a rapid pace. The reverse repo drawdown has occurred at a faster pace than the Fed has been drawing down on its balance sheet, right? This is going down more than this is, that rate there. And so to put some numbers behind it, you go back to roughly, the summer of 2022, $2 trillion has come out of reverse repos, but the Fed's balance sheet is only down by $1.3 trillion. So more money is going out than is coming back in. And so that right here, you see the liquidity that the Fed was actually supposed to drain is on the rise again. Okay, so then there's that late October victory lap, the pivot that the Fed was all excited about. Not only were investors watching, but so were consumers, right? You look at this spike right here, people started to get more optimistic about their current and future financial situation. But now,
I feel like she's
cost $20.
I feel like she's telling me a secret. Like it's just the two of us
She's
get
using
to know
words
this.
like liquidity and accommodative.
Let's
so
go.
She's smart.
Let's go.
the Fed is dealing with a rebound in some key inflation data. So this
What is key inflation data?
Information that we're finding out how your dollar is not worth toilet paper.
Oh. It's key inflation data. Let's find out more.
is the CPI equivalent of the PCE Supercourt. Shows inflation.
This is the CPI equivalent of the PCE Supercore.
She needs a middle management government job badly.
That woman would pay $3,000 a month as a single person in Washington, D.C. to come and do this nonsense. All right, hold on. I'm not done. We got another 40 seconds. Can we hold on without laughing? Get yourself together, Steve Friend. Here we go.
If you strip out energy, housing, goods. In January, the month-over-month rate started increasing again, right? That means inflation is stickier than the Fed wants it.
What?
I have no the tone
Listen,
of voice.
when it's increasing, it means it's stickier. I had no idea. I'd never heard that term. Let's go again.
All while the consumer is feeling really good, right? On top of that, the tax.
On top of that, Milton Friedman just
bringing down inflation has also been really tough because of all that fiscal cash that continues to pour in.
What the F is fiscal cash? Serious? Did she just say the words fiscal cash?
That's like saying ATM machine. I mean, just a little bit repetitive.
No, it means it's ATM money cash.
Oh, okay.
The automatic teller machine money cash. That's where the sticky inflation gets stuck into the fiscal cash.
It's the ATM MC.
Hold on, here we go.
The economy unabated. Remember, though, what Milton Friedman said.
Listen, remember what this guy said. He's bald. He knows stuff. I've heard his name before. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to remember it. Holy crap. Is this what constitutes daytime television, Steve? Did I not know this? I should be watching this stuff with, we should be doing Mystery Science Theater of Fox Business.
Inflation is a monetary phenomenon. It is.
Say it again. Say it again.
It has also been really tough because of all that fiscal cash that continues to pour
that's
into
even worse.
the economy.
Ooh.
What just happened?
Unabated.
I got as much information out of the skips that I did from her.
Milton,
What just happened?
it is made by or stopped by the central bank. That
No,
Charles
go back. I want to hear her say phenomenology.
What Milton Friedman said. Inflation is
It will not let me play it back.
a monetary phenomenon. It is made by or stopped.
I'm done. I'm sorry. I tried. All I want to do is skip back and hear the pretty lady say the funny words again. I'm trying to have a good attitude about the bad things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you and I have been kind of like zeroing in on this, hearkening back to the 80s and the 90s. Like that is what the Make America Great Again sort of ideal is for us, right? Like back in the times when we could say gay and retarded and not be crucified for it.
Right.
But I think it's almost like the scientists that have to calculate, the rocket scientists who have to calculate the re-entry into the atmosphere, how they have to determine the exact precise angle that the space shuttle has to hit, otherwise it can ricochet off the atmosphere and then go off into space. I think they just slightly missed the re-entry because they landed not in the 80s or the 90s, they landed in like 1979 when Jimmy Carter gave his malaise speech and said it was a crisis of confidence that was to blame. You just need to be more optimistic and things will be better.
No, if you could just be more optimistic, then everything would be fine. Interestingly enough, two things have happened in the last, 8 days in our house. I bought the trilogy to watch Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 with my children.
Well, before you watch that, you should watch the John Mulaney rundown of what the setup for Back to the Future is, because it's a pretty good take.
I'll have to watch it afterwards because we watched it with the kids.
Okay.
And not only did I watch it with the kids, but I pre-watched it. I never do this. But I remember there being some kind of spicy stuff.
Oh, yes. Like sexual assault.
Well, yeah. I mean, like he aggressively gropes and feels up a woman in the 1950s. But like that actually is a little bit confusing if you're a kid and you don't know what's going on there. He's just like, he's kind of reaching into the skirt. It's not obvious. But the number 2 version of it, where they go to the future
in 2015,
then they come back. They go to 2015, where we have flying cars and they can replace your colon
machines
and swap out all your bloods. Yeah, and they still have the fax machines. Then he goes back to like the sort of dystopian 1985, and in the dystopian 1985. Biff is in charge, and he decided that as the king and most powerful person in America with the biggest gambling win streak, he would live and be the king of Squalor Town, where there's a bunch of like homeless biker guys just endlessly looping around in front of his casino. And
Biff looks like Donald Trump.
Biff looks exactly like Donald Trump, and his wife is a bimbo that he bimbofied by giving her fake boobs. Anyway, there's a couple of weird moments in that. And then he's also in a hot tub with 2 ladies who are not his wife. And they're kind of like classic, whatever, 80s broads. all of that, I was like, I wonder how much exposure to that. Like, is it too much for my kids? I watched it. It's like, I don't think they understand what she's saying. She's like, you can have these back. You paid for them anyway. I would have never done this or something. And you're like, gross. So there's a couple of weird moments about cosmetic surgery. But all of that is to say, watching all that stuff and having that kind of nostalgia, two things happen. One, I realized that we have this desperate desire to kind of go back to a previous time. And when you go back to the idealized version of the 50s, it's innocent, the music is good, people are dancing together, and it's kind of sweet. When they go back to the Old West, there's bad things, but the bad things seem kind of like more surmountable than whatever. So we have this nostalgia about the past. And the second thing I found out is that all the people that are my age that have kids that are my kids' age are 10 years younger than me, and none of them have seen Back to the Future, which is really radicalizing for me. My wife goes, I was trying to tell one of our friends, and they haven't seen Back to the Future. And then she's done this to 3 or 4 different women who all have children our kids' age. Yeah. And none of them have seen it.
I mean, my shortcut for delineation and age, because you could go with, is it digital, you know, or did you grow up in a time when like you had to actually read the clock arms, right? But I think the more apropos.
Do you remember when laser discs failed? By the way, there's laser discs in 2015 in Back to the Future. They have entire bundles of used laser discs, which are not CDs. They're the huge CDs.
Yes.
Like the 12-inch record-size CDs. Anyway.
The question I always pose to them is, hey, if you're typing a document on the computer and you want to do the shortcut to save it, what do you do? And if they say, oh, you click on the button that's the square with the circle in it, and they don't know that it's a floppy disk, then I know that they're probably just a little bit beyond where my age range is.
If you don't remember when floppy disks were floppy, do you remember when people kept calling the 3.5, they were like the hard disk, but it was confusing because it wasn't a hard disk?
Yes.
But they were the hard floppies?
Yeah, the hard ones are the ones that I found in a desk drawer in the FBI office that I worked in when I arrived there in 2015.
So one of the great discoveries that I had when I was working at the Bureau, this is how you know the government's not getting any better, people. This is how you know the government is still the government. When I cleaned out the 1984 move-in date of this, you know, offsite that we had, I'm going through it. No one's ever thrown anything out. I found, completely unused, a brand new factory sealed box Rolodex.
Nice.
I also found one for index cards. Like you would find like a Betty Crocker like series of like insert recipe in here, and it was completely unused. It was just it was a plastic shield with a steel bar going and a metal tray, which you would never see today. So that was fun. I found a bunch of made in America staplers. That was pretty cool. And I found a box of completely untouched like CR015 or whatever the hell they were called, or CRVAN metal cassette tapes. Factory sealed, 120 minutes on both sides, and a recording device that FBI agents used to use to record their 302s, and then they would hand their tape to the secretary, the steno pool, who would type up
when they called them rotors.
They called them rotors, and then those women would give the typed up typewriter paper to the agent to give corrections and like highlight what they misunderstood or they didn't put correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
So they would go out there and they would write up like, oh, like this is not what I meant here. Or they would circle misspellings and stuff. So they were grammatically checked by the agent. Anyway, all super fun stuff to find out.
I found the manual for the fanny pack, the tactical fanny pack that was issued to agents in the 90s about how to draw your weapon from it.
That's awesome. All of that, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, I played this video, and when people heard Golden Era, when they heard Make America Great Again, when you have very, I think, articulately pointed out that the conflation of patriotism and nostalgia is really the danger, and that's what people were hoping for. They were actually hoping for a turn back the clocks moment. I played this video clip. I'm going to play it for you. I don't know if you saw it, but this is, people in the chat were telling me that they had tears in their eyes watching this, and it's sad because this morning I got into a little, well, I didn't get into anything. I just posted something, and it's a guy named Bricksuit. I will play that in a moment. This is the sufficiently MAGA enough, you know, just change your attitude about things kind of moment. And George Santos, who does still owe me $100, confirmed?
Correct. He's too cheap. He pulled it out for the photo op and put it right back in his wallet.
He gave you $100 to give to me, and I would have let you keep it as my collector, and I would have made the debt square. But instead, he took the $100 back after just posing with a photo. Is there anything more congressional than that? Politicians?
I suppose he could have made allegations that I threatened to break his legs, but outside of that, it's pretty much on par for
to be a former member of Congress, pardoned. Was he pardoned for felony charges?
I believe so, yeah. And he was
pardoned for felony charges, and being a gay Indian giver in 2026 is perfect Republicanism. Anyway, George Santos is like, "Why are you so negative, Seraphin?" And except he said it in a gayer voice, I'm sure, and I think he would agree. And then my answer to him is that I have children. And unlike the genetic dead ends out there that don't have any kids, which, by the way, Brick Suit is one of them, as far as I can tell, no children, we're talking about something that you can't understand because I'm looking at the era that we lived in, and most of the things in this video are familiar to me, and my children won't have it. And so I don't know how sunny you can be when you're like, things were infinitely better when I was younger. And then the guy came in who said he was going to wreck the machine that was doing all the bad stuff. And instead, he just gave it Mr. Fusion and made it run faster and harder and more aggressive. Here's the video from the other day.
In the 1970s, our parents did things that today would get a knock on the door from Child Protective Services.
Looks like my mom.
And we turned out mostly fine. Let's begin with the car. There were no car seats, there were no seat belts, or if there were, nobody used them. You rode in the way back of the station wagon, facing traffic, waving at strangers, rolling around like laundry. And Mom's safety system? Her right arm flung across your chest at every stop sign. That was the airbag. Sunscreen? Never heard of her. You went outside at 8 a.m. and came back at dark the color of a catcher's mitt, and that was called a good summer. Speaking of dark, the one rule: be home when the streetlights come on. No phone, no GPS. Your parents had no idea where you were for 10 hours, and they did not lose 1 minute of sleep over it. You drank from the garden hose. You ate dinner at the neighbor's house, and nobody called ahead. You rode your bike with no helmet, off a plywood ramp, over your friend, and the only medical treatment was your mother licking her thumb and wiping your face. If you misbehaved, any adult on the block was authorized to correct you, and then they'd tell your mother, and you'd get it again at home. Double jeopardy did not apply. You played with lawn darts, actual metal spears, for fun. You handled fireworks at age 7. And somehow, against all odds, here we all are. We didn't have safety. We had freedom, skinned knees, and a whole neighborhood raising us. And honestly, we wouldn't trade it. Follow for more of the childhood.
Blah, 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 blah. And what's the sad thing is that's AI slop. Mm-hmm. And it's content garbage created to remind people that, yeah, I mean, all those things are true.
Yeah.
I get nostalgia walking into a bowling alley that hasn't had smoking in it for 2 decades, but they've never cleaned out the air filters. And it smells like the smoking section at like a Denny's or something, or a Bob's Big Boy. And you walk in there and you're like, you used to have to walk through the smoking section to get to the non-smoking section, which was just a different room where the smoke just came in less.
They used to have smoking sections on airplanes.
Of course. It's just so weird to watch that. And then again, the promise that was made. This was what they were appealing to. This is the reason. And Ronald Reagan said it first. We're so interested in doing the Ronald Reagan repeat that Donald Trump is now warning people about communists.
Yes, which I think the Rosetta Stone on that, and I've said it before, communist actually means insufficiently MAGA. And I think you can also draw a line to when he says our country, it really means our movement. So when the president says the greatest threat to our country is communism, what he's actually saying is the greatest threat to our movement, i.e. me, is people who are insufficiently expressing fealty to me.
I feel like Steve needs to have a MAGA translator account so he can just take things that are being said by people that seem ridiculous, and then he's just
hit music behind it, an AI voice. Man.
Yeah, you just write just a translation guide for people that are listening to the MAGA. Somebody in the chat was just asking, like, Seraphin, you bowl? Do you roll, bro? I used to have my own bowling ball, and I aspired to be like my father, who had his own bowling ball. And one of the great memories that I have as a kid is that my dad won a bowling ball or was given a bowling ball. by his employees at a radio station in Dallas. And it was a urethane ball, if memory serves. So I remember him taking it to the bowling alley, getting it drilled for his hand exactly, which is a baller move. And then you have it fit exactly the way you want. And then my dad went out. My dad comes from northern Wisconsin, and I imagine grew up. I know he did some pool hustling, and I know there were bowling alleys because like it's cold outside, so they couldn't do anything else. Just like in Texas, you have to do that because it's too hot outside. So we went to probably Don Carter's All-Star Lanes. Don Carter, who used to own the Mavericks back when like regular people just owned stuff. I mean, he was a rich guy. He had, car dealerships and stuff, but
hardly Elon Musk.
Right. He wasn't like a billionaire. And then my dad went out and rolled almost a perfect game with his brand new ball. And we were like, whoa, like it was really pretty awesome to watch. And I went like, one day I also will have my own ball. And then I got a deal on a bowling ball. They were like, I went to a bowling alley. I was regular time. Friends used to go to bowling, and somebody was selling off like a discounted urethane ball, and I was like, that's for me. Maybe it was already drilled or something, and I bought it with somebody else's hand grip. And I went out through a couple of pretty good games. I spent some time bowling. I'm nowhere near as good as like Viva Fry, who actually has a bowling channel. He's got a bowling video with multi-million views on YouTube that I just found the other day.
Everybody's got different interests. Look, my parents bowl. My dad bowls to the point where he calls it kegling, so he's kind of serious about it.
What does it mean? What is it? What is kegling?
I don't know. It's like an old time reference to when the pins were. Like,
how old is your dad?
75.
Gary, what's going on here?
Well, and then there's been. Yeah, how do you not know the recent innovations in the bowling ball? There's now like a scent, a core on the inside of the ball. So my personally owned bowling ball has a strawberry.
You have a bowling ball?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay,
I sure do have one, and it has it's a cherry scent core. And the philosophy behind it is actually pretty smart because you put your shoes in the bag and they kind of stink. But if you have the ball that has a nice aroma, therefore your bowling bag doesn't smell.
Do you lift it up and put your tongue on it like the Jesus guy in Big Lebowski?
I don't, but I can't help but like sniff my hand.
Do you clean your balls like this? Do you guys do the thing like you and your dad get together and like clean the balls?
He's way more serious than me, so I wouldn't doubt it. He probably brings his own like fan and tether.
Puts his hands out there. Does he have the wrist support and all that?
No. But now they're all doing the two-hand roll, which is kind of gay.
What?
Yes. Professionals are doing two-handed roll, man.
Shut your mouth. All right, we're going to find some videos about this. All right, let me find out. Like, this is all spurred on by this ridiculous clip that I saw, and it just made me angry because I realized that my whole problem is that I'm not seeing things with the right rose-colored glasses. If I could just put those on and see things in the way that it is. By the way, the end of this video is maybe the grossest thing I've ever heard when the wannabe gangster guy in the background starts calling out Jesus stuff. I'm going to need a MAGA translation. Luckily, we have Steve Friend here, so let's see what this is all about.
God bless you. What's your message to America?
My message to America is optimism. There's a lot of people out there with a negative message and are getting traction because they're being negative. Look at the good side. Look at the bright side. We are in such a great position to take this victory home and set our country up for such success to continue the golden age. Don't give in to the naysayers out there.
What does he mean, take this victory home? What does that mean, Steve Friend?
I believe that he's referring to having the White House, the House, and the Senate majorities, which they have had for 2 years.
Oh, okay. So he's going to take the victory home, and then he also said that. Did you notice that he said we're going to continue the golden era?
Yes, or gilded. I think that's probably the code.
That's my words. Okay. And then can you describe, just for the listeners, what the scene is that's going on here? Just kind of like a visual of what's happening on the screen?
Yeah, I mean, well, you have the brick suit guy there with his interesting facial hair.
Which came from Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Chinese polyester printed cartoon suit.
And he's got his MAGA hat, and then there's a few other gentlemen and females in the background, also a similar attire where they have Trump paraphernalia, and not a parent of small children to be found.
What do you think the average age seen in this particular shot is?
Old enough to think that my dad is a whippersnapper.
Okay, and one guy has a Trump 2028 hat on, and he's wearing a T-shirt, and he kind of looks like a cut-rate Glenn Beck.
He kind of does.
He looks like if you added 10 or 15 years to Glenn Beck. Yes. Okay, we're going to continue on. Hold on, we're going to find out what our problem is. So the attitude is that we're just being negative. So here we go.
Who are saying that there's nothing good going to happen because we're in the middle of it and you can make it happen. It's within you to make it happen.
Steve, is it within you to make it happen?
I need to find out what it is other than voting harder.
Okay.
That's my message.
I love that. The Lord put that on my heart a couple years ago. Wake up.
The sad thing is I really like Ben Bergquan, but he seems like he just fell off the wagon of saying like, hey, here's some difficult things. He was running around the border and pointing out that things were like kind of rough. He was going through airports and saying, and now he's like, the Lord put it on my heart to be happy. It's like,
Why
I guess
is the
you're doing
guy
well.
dressed up for Saturday Night Fever with the exception of his reader glasses doing a black power symbol in the background?
Bro, that guy is about to drop some knowledge on us. So yes, I'm glad you highlighted this. There's a man with a spread collar and he has a 2-button blazer with both buttons buttoned.
Solid.
Here we go.
Thank the Lord for all of the blessings in your life. Don't focus on the negative. Blake, I love that, brother. That's a great way to end today. The line continues down here. We're going to head upstairs right now.
Another fat
God bless
guy.
you guys. God bless America. Midterms. Save America. Jesus is the key.
That guy's doing a thumbs up and a peace sign, and he's doing the Saturday Night Fever.
After having completed his black power sign, he's doing all the things except for the circle game because he doesn't want to be accused of saying white power.
That he should have done that.
Pass the SAVE Act. Invite Jesus into our country. Save America.
What does that mean?
So, I mean, order of operations, right? First, we need to make sure we have voter ID and then embrace the Son of God as your only Lord and Savior.
Voter ID, Jesus is king, other weird things, peace from the Saturday Night Fever guy. Give me a second here, Steve. Let me break away for a sec. Take a deep breath. All right, guys, you may need to adjust your audio volume. We're going to leave a space right now, if you're listening on the audio platforms, for some of the advertisements that come in. And they come in from the folks over at Spotify, which is our hosting service. Appreciate them. KyleSeraphinShow.com is how you can find the audio and the video. If you're thinking, hey, your description is just not enough for me. I need to see what these goofballs look like. I want to look at a grown man with a cartoon mustache, a cartoon face, and a cartoon suit on. I want to see what a human cartoon looks like. You can find it on Spotify. KyleSeraphinShow.com is how you find that. If you've not followed us there, do it as just a backup. You never know when you might need it. I'm trying not to be mean, but if your entire identity for a decade is that you accidentally wore a novelty Chinese garbage suit that looks like it was made of bricks, except it doesn't even look like real bricks, and those were to be able to symbolize that we were going to build the wall in 2016. The wall is actually made of steel slats, if anyone's ever seen the border wall. So it's not made of bricks at all. So it's a symbolic cartoon reference to something. And then did we ever finish building the wall? Did we just kind of let that go?
No, I think we let the Biden administration sell off the parts for pennies.
They sold off the parts for pennies on the dollar. And then also, I think there was that problem where the Mexicans weren't paying for it, but they were going to pay for it, but they're actually in default of the paying for it. Maybe we could just let Jesus into our hearts. And while I think that's a great idea, it's a fantastic idea. First, we better worry about the SAVE Act. Here's what the president has to say about the SAVE Act.
If you had fair and strong elections, they would lose 25% of their base. They would never be elected again.
Look at that face, Steve. Describe what that face is.
It shows that he's strong, right? I mean, he likes to use the word strong there, even though it's a complete misnomer. It's not applicable to the sentence. But, just kind of chilling out and scanning the crowd, trying to gauge what their reactions are on this.
Our chat on YouTube just pointed out that maybe when they're talking about Jesus, they actually mean Jesus from The Big Lebowski. I hadn't considered that. We're going to listen to the rest
Jesus.
of Trump.
And I'm trying to explain that to Republicans, but some of them don't quite understand it.
They don't have that smart blood, Steve.
No, they don't have a blood relative who was a professor at some point at an institution of higher learning.
Yeah, okay, let's see.
They don't understand it
Yeah,
because they're good people. They're good people. They don't know how crooked these people are. I've dealt with a lot of crooked people in my life. They don't know how bad these people are.
Can I get a MAGA translation?
The what? Thrice or 4-time indicted criminally guy says I've dealt with some bad people before. That's
shocker.
Not going to go well.
I used to do casinos in Atlantic City. They don't know about bad people. They've never been to D.C. and seen real bad. Here we go.
We got to get the Republicans to be tougher.
That's what it is.
Are you not?
Especially in the Senate.
President?
Especially in our Senate.
Who's the president right now?
I think it's Donald J. Trump.
And what party is he with?
The Republicans.
Steve, can you say that in an optimistic way and just make it happen for yourself?
I need to be at somebody on Fox News to do that because,
I got that for you in a minute. I got that for you too. Don't worry.
Got to get the senators in there. They got to be tough. But they voted in favor of the transgender mutilization of your children.
Mutilization.
What is that, by the way? Can you tell me what mutilization is?
I mean, I have to get a medical dictionary out and look up maybe like mutilize. But
what does it mean to mutilize? To mutilize a child?
It's something about, I guess, like when the shin bone is connected to the hip bone. And...
What? Wait, how does that work? If the shin bone was connected to the hip bone, you've deleted a femur.
You've been mutilized, correct.
You've been mutilized.
And they voted in favor of men and women's sports. Can you imagine?
Oh, can you believe it? Let's go back to the well.
Right, if we could just get that red meat, man. As red as that.
They get so mad about men and women's sports, these old people that are just hanging out there and trying to let Jesus in their hearts and also pass the SAVE Act. Not that in order. Jeez. It's super serious. That's how I know it. Oh, it's so disappointing, dude. Well, I got another great thing for you. We're doing mass deportations. They're just not what you thought they were. We just have to redefine your perspective. If you could just be positive about it, it's going to be fine, all right?
Yeah. I mean,
so there was a serious court case. It was in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld that what has always been considered birthright citizenship is their version of birthright citizenship, even though it's terrible. It is terrible.
Yes.
It's gross, right? Okay.
Yes. Objectively makes no sense for a functioning country as it is now.
Take yourself. I used to do this routine during the campaign where I would put you and make you be Kamala Harris. Do you remember?
Yeah. Put on my Kamala hat and make sure that I'm measuring my pumpkin.
Can you put on the Donald Trump hair for a second? All right. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure. I can measure shells.
How long is your tie?
At least down mid-fly.
Mid-fly. Yeah. Generally like halfway down the scrot. And Steve, what I need you to do as Donald Trump is now imagine you've just been handed a crippling victory against your executive order that changed the definition of birthright citizenship because the people in Congress will not define it properly. Now, you're the head of the Republican Party. Your party has the House and the Senate. You've been handed this crippling SCOTUS victory. What do you do? Give me Donald Trump's answer to this problem.
Well, as Donald Trump or as a Steve Friend?
As Donald Trump. As Donald Trump, go. Well, you don't have to do the voice if you don't want to, but you can try.
Well, Donald Trump will say something to the effect of, the Republicans just need to be stronger, and this is really going to be bad for them, even though he's in charge of them. And really, we're going to have to pivot on to some other things, like focusing on how Iran should never have a nuclear weapon.
That's a good idea. Sir, are there any actions you could take unilaterally?
Well, I mean, the best people have looked into it, and, all those best people, and they're saying that this coming election, that the polls are saying that we're going to really have a smashing victory, and really what it boils down to is that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, so that's why we needed to get involved.
It's a good bet. We're gonna drop this into the White House here and see what Donald Trump's actual reaction is. You guys compare it against Steve Friend's prediction. You didn't see this already, I don't think.
We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair.
Now that you can see what's happening, Steve, what do you think's coming?
Executive order?
Oh, let's do it. Let's go.
Full dictator.
Let's do it.
It was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves.
Stephen Miller is rocking on his feet because he's so excited to get a piece of paper out.
Why does he say it that way? The babies of slaves.
And what's happening now, people
I know he's right.
are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship.
Well, maybe they could donate to your campaign. Then you could, be happy.
Get behind it.
That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in, and we're not going to let it happen.
Listen, you can't buy your way in, but what we will sell you is a Trump gold card where you can buy your way in. The golden era.
I mean, that or you just need to be one of the 600,000 Chinese students because otherwise our university system will fail somehow.
We need them. We need those Chinese people. Also, they stole our election, and also they're checking out if they can compromise our infrastructure, but also we need them.
But they totally need to work with our premier preeminent law enforcement agency on apprehending criminals. Just trust us, bro. We're going to give you all the fentanyl dealers.
So you listened to yesterday's program. Did that not blow your mind that the United States is now in an information sharing posture with the Chinese, the FBI, and the MPS, the Ministry of Public Safety?
Well, they're called working groups. And the remark that Reuters reported on for Rakesh Patel was like, they said it couldn't be done. The people said this was a terrible idea, and I did it anyway. I'm like, man, you are straight Timu Trump. Let's walk around representatives from the Chinese Communist Party in the FBI facility, which, as a side note, I needed an escort to walk into because I was not trustworthy.
Right.
But China, unfettered access.
Do you know that Kash Patel's chief of staff is a 20-something-year-old young man? He's known as Baby Jake because his first job was White House intern. His second job was somehow like a travel coordinator for the White House. He got a job in the FBI. He went to Quantico. He was an agent for 2 years or 2.5 years. And they promoted him from junior, just got off probation agent to the chief advisor for policy to the FBI director. Steve Friend was available for that job, even though you probably wouldn't have been senior enough to have it. You would have infinitely known more about the FBI after a decade working there. They took a guy that had just showed up and had never actually done anything in Seattle. Seattle, which when he was there was still in the throes of like whatever BLM nonsense was still going on. Like one of the most lib offices there was. And they put him in charge.
Well, that checks. I mean, he probably was, let's do some Rosetta Stone. He probably was not a threat to our country, right? And he was definitely not a communist. So lots of MAGA land acknowledgments. Was all down for the movement because he'd done some sort of an internship in the White House. And look, I don't hate somebody doing an internship in the White House. That's really good for you for having that experience. You only go around once, right? That's kind of a cool thing to say. But you parlay that into a high-ranking position almost immediately, having never actually done the job that the agency you work for theoretically or is in the business of, like law enforcement, national security. If you got 2.5 years, that means you went to the academy, you were a probationary agent, and you had little to no responsibilities, particularly if you were in a large office like Seattle, where they threw you on some sort of a squad and they said, all right, FNG, you just send out the subpoena requests.
We're going to do about 9 news stories in a row in a moment. But first, we're going to start with the SCOTUS said what birthright citizenship is.
Yes.
Which is what it's always been. Even though I think they're wrong.
Yes.
I don't think that's what it meant. And I think we can agree on that. Donald Trump is signing a new executive order. And CBS found a boomer sugar daddy who's mad that his Latina girlfriend live-in maid was deported. The best thing about this guy is that he is the distillation of all dislikable things that Bricksuit and his friends are. He's 75, but he's a businessman. He has a chick. He's obviously not married. He has a chick that is a fiance that's 30 years younger than him.
Yes.
He mispronounces words. He conflates the idea that someone who is here illegally is a citizen because it's convenient for him. And then maybe the best part is that her name, she's from Venezuela, and her name is Yasmin, and he calls her Jasmine. And so everything about this guy is a cartoon as well. So anyway, he just needs to frame his mindset more positively. Hold on. I think if we could, hold on.
God bless you. What's your message to America?
My message to America is optimism. There's a lot of people out there with a negative message and are getting traction because they're...
This guy has a negative message. He's probably getting traction, so he just needs to change it to optimism. Here we go.
I voted for Trump. I am saying that they are picking up law-abiding citizens. They're
What is a law-abiding citizen? Do you know?
I thought it was imbibing. Somebody who reads the law.
Oh, somebody who drinks down the law? Imbibing? Yeah. The other thing is he's got the Susan Collins shake.
That or his body's betraying him and he's completely lying as he shakes his head side to side about everything he's talking about.
Or he could be doing like one of those things where you're like on the vibrating platforms that give you fitness.
Oh yeah, he's got those like the ab thing where it's supposed to be giving.
It could be like a 10 unit or something
because she is 30 years younger.
Yeah, he's got to be fit and virile for his now deported chick. Here we go.
Destroying families, jobs.
John Gannon is a 75-year-old businessman and lifelong Republican who supported President Trump in 2024.
What business is he doing right there, that guy?
Well, he's clearly not operating the computer because he's got a pen in hand and then just squinting because he doesn't want to put the readers on to show, how he's lacking virility.
That's the most boomer move ever. I am now copying down numbers from my computer screen onto my piece of paper. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, this is really funny. This is staged. Okay, so whenever I look at TV and I just go, guys, it's fake. It's made up. This guy's like, 75-year-old John Gagagan is a businessman, and he's also got orchids in his house. Here we go.
I wouldn't do that again. Not after this fiasco.
They found a Trump voter who wants to take his vote back. And that's what this is all about, by the way. And then they just miss out that this is so silly.
Let's go.
His fiancée, 45-year-old Venezuelan immigrant Yasmin Suarez Reyes.
Stop. Look at the slit on that dress, dude. She's 45 and she's dressing like a teenager.
Highly inappropriate, but also major props to the media, which has to do the fake Latino accent whenever they pronounce names or locations, when it's like, there was a bus accident today and 12 fatalities in Nicaragua.
Hold on, let's hear more about Yasmin, whatever her name is.
Was detained by ICE at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston in late July.
8 ICE agents swarmed Jasmine.
He's so upset. This guy's voice is epic. He's just so disaffected by what happened.
He voted for the dude whose number one thing was mass deportations while he was currently involved in a romantic relationship with an illegal alien and thought, we'll roll the dice on this.
Right. So that's the best part. But he's just like, Ocho agents took my Jasmine.
And detained her, didn't tell us why, and rustled her off into a car.
Rustled her? She's cattle.
Well, to be fair, like, he did have some instinct maybe why. She's from Venezuela and they're ICE.
She also is from Spain and has a Spanish citizenship. She could have gone there and tried to apply.
It's just like he wasn't reading the context clues where the ICE guys who were in charge of immigrations and customs enforcement grabbed your chick who was illegally in the U.S. that you voted for. Ocho agentes. Ocho agentes. Grab me, Jasmine. Okay. I should not make fun of other people's tragedies, except this is the dumbest thing. Like, what did you vote for, bro? What were you into? He just wanted lower taxes. He wanted no taxes on tips, I'm guessing.
No taxes on
when
tips.
You saw that unfold, what went through your mind?
Well, I was just in total disbelief.
According to her
They're not in the same room for that. They're doing a Zoom call.
Yeah, I think you're right. What is going on with this lady? Looks very young. That's 45. 45. She's older than I am, and she looks like this, and she's hanging out with a Pomeranian.
She's got a Yorkshire Terrier, which is the worst.
Is that not a Pomeranian?
I think it's a Yorkie, but I don't know. I hate them all.
Do you suspect that dog has papers? You can't leave it. You can't board the dog, Steve. The dog has papers. It gets upset. Its hair will fall out. It's a show dog. All right, man. Let's go on. What does Yasmin/Jasmine think?
Lawyer Suarez Reyes came to the U.S. legally in 2023 and later applied for asylum, a case that is still ongoing. But her underlying permission to be in the U.S. has lapsed.
That's a good face.
Yeah, that's got the nice O face. So she arrived. The background is she arrived and came here on a visa and immediately applied for asylum to manipulate the system, kind of like the way Mark Wade Mullen told the National Governors Association that I can't help you, you have to help yourself.
You got to apply for, you guys got to apply. Okay. Yeah. Kash Patel should feel a lot of pity for this man.
Some people may say this is what mass deportations look like.
They're not going after the hard guys.
You don't know how many blue pills it requires. Have you seen the slit in that dress?
They're not going after the hard guys. They're going after the hard guys' chicks. Do you understand? They took my maid and my girlfriend. That face is also pretty good. My pausing is on point. All right, he's about to tell you that they're going after the hardworking citizens that are not citizens.
That's too difficult. It's easier to pick them up at the airport. You know, It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Excellent. That's a great strategy. You should go to areas where there's a high concentration of illegal aliens if your goal is to deport lots of illegal aliens.
That's not what I voted for. I voted for Yasmin to stick around, man. What's going on here?
Okay. Jasmine.
Now it's Jasmine. Sorry, Jasmine.
Suarez Reyes was arrested as part of a recent crackdown by ICE at airports across the country.
ICE is here. Help us.
Back in Texas, Gannon says he deeply misses his fiancée.
He's had all these blue pills just sitting around for no reason.
He's looking at her booking information.
He's just staring at a computer screen with somebody's fingerprints on it. What's going on with this guy? Oh, he's just missing her so much that he's staring at her arrest sheet. Her deportation order is just on his computer for no reason.
Who remains in ICE custody, facing deportation.
Jasmine's good as gold.
What does that mean? Oh my God. This guy's a freaking epic comedian.
Maybe she was gilded, kind of like the age we're in now.
Oh, it's so good.
Love Jasmine.
What on earth?
That's it.
We contacted the Department of Homeland Security about this case, but have yet to...
Dude, look at this guy. His name is Carmelo Montañez Galvez, and no wonder he did the accent. He's got multiple names, too.
Very authentic.
He's their immigration correspondent.
I can't believe that that's a job. Professional.
Yeah, no, that's a muy authentico job.
Here back, immigrants like Suarez Reyes would typically not have been targeted for deportation and arrest under prior administrations.
Right, but that's kind of what the vote was about. And if we got millions of those people, then everything would be fine. And it's like, hey, you broke the law. You came here and abused the system. That's literally what the vote was about. If we could believe that they were real. And they just happened to get, low-hanging fruit is kind of the name of the game. What do they always say in law enforcement? Who do they catch, Steve? The smart ones?
No, only the dumb ones.
Oh, so when you go through some sort of like a federal government checkpoint.
And they feed you into an aluminum tube? Yes.
When you funnel yourself into a place where you're going to stand in front of somebody that represents the Department of Homeland Security, which is what TSA is, and they feed your name and your data into a Department of Homeland Security database, they might find out that you're not here in this country with legal status. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. I can't believe they did that to Jasmine. She was good as gold, dude.
And she had a Texas driver's license, you should know, too. So, that's a defense of...
Did she really?
Yeah, that's part of the background. She had a Texas driver's license. Ergo, the state of Texas did not do its job and allowed her, an illegal alien, permission to drive on your streets there.
I'm psyched. Anyway, NBC covered this. He signed 2 actions to limit birthright citizenship and curb birth tourism.
He is.
Look at him. That's the Supreme Court shot down his first effort, so he said this one's going to pass constitutional muster because they wrote it up again. Listen,
copy and paste.
The thing is you just need to be optimistic about it. If you just have optimism and stop going after the negative clicks.
But I mean, that's sort of the way that they responded to the birthright citizenship decision to begin with. They lost, but they were so excited that it had been a close loss, right? They're like, oh, it was 5-4.
That's what J.D. Vance said. Yeah, if we almost got there. So in 10 years, we might be closer.
Yeah, just keep hoping. I mean, we have a crisis of confidence.
Jimmy Carter.
Just turn the thermostat down and wear a sweater.
Just show up on even days or odd days based on your license plate number, and then you too can get fuel. I'm not sure what the problem is here. Donald Trump said Thursday that he's once more going to try to limit the number of people who are born in the United States that could become American citizens. After his first attempt was rejected by the Supreme Court, he's ready to try it again. He's signing 2 executive actions on immigration. One is limiting the number of people eligible for U.S. citizenship after being born in the United States. The other is focused on stopping people from coming to the United States to give birth in the first place. That should work.
That What are they going to do? Make the women pee on a stick when they arrive?
I'm not sure. They can do all kinds of weird stuff at the border. The functional equivalent of the border is actually pretty powerful. The written executive order was written in narrower scope than the one that was previously shot down, so we can go and have another loss. Children born to adults with connections to foreign embassies and organizations, as well as anyone considered an alien enemy of the United States. So we're not going to do the Chinese thing, even though we're going to bring them in to keep the university going?
No, they're special. We need it at universities. Otherwise, they'll just go under entirely.
So this is going to mess with Jasmine's thing, but it also aims to restrict birthright citizenship to anyone whose parents engaged in fraudulent activity to obtain citizenship.
Meaning that they lied about the woman
why
being
they were
knocked
here?
up when they arrived?
Or maybe they lied about why they showed up here in the first place, that they came in. I saw a woman the other day who's an Indian lady who came here in 2014, and she's been on a student visa, an F1 student visa, since then, working illegally. And she works as a dancer and performer, because when I think of like, what are things that we couldn't do without here in Texas, America? I think Indian crab dancers that are barefoot on the sidewalk is kind of like something we should probably try to, we don't have enough of it, so we could get more.
Yeah, she should run for Congress. Don't we have Anna Paulina Luna?
Does she dance barefoot on the sidewalk doing a crab dance, or
Well,
she just?
was only a cocktail waitress.
I don't think.
In that
I don't think we should talk about crabs and Anna Paulina Luna in the same. That's not appropriate.
No.
So, let's talk about the real problems, shall we?
Full send.
Okay. There are Muslims. Put on your shock face, Steve. Muslims who think that America deserved 9/11. They are on YouTube. And in addition to those horrible things, they also support people who have communistic ideas about healthcare in a Senate race against a terrorist hunter.
Oh, a terrorist hunter who was out of the FBI before the war on terrorism began?
A guy who was in Congress on 9/11. He was sworn in January of 2001. So that was probably hard for you to take in, if I had to guess. Like, you probably were like, Kyle, what are you saying? Could you get a pretty blonde lady to talk about it?
That would be optimal.
Okay, I've got you. I got you covered, my friend.
Just
be optimistic, all right?
I grew up 20 minutes outside of Dearborn. I'm very familiar with this area. I'm watching this race very closely. I have seen firsthand what is happening in these communities. You cannot tell me that it is not happening.
I mean, you can say anything you want. It's America. I thought it was a free country or a constitutional republic or whatever Daniel Bongino 292 says.
Appeal to authority. Does she live in Dearborn now?
Dude, no. Look at her. She can't get away with that.
I have seen the forced subjugation and humiliation of women in the name of Islam.
Can you say more?
NFI?
No further
like in Dearborn specifically, or are you talking about like Fallujah?
Dude, she's on the internet.
I have heard the Islamic call to prayer blasted in the streets.
Again, in Dearborn, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does happen in Dearborn. I saw it on the internet too. So why is she paused like that?
You were really spot on with the pauses today.
I'm killing it.
Yeah.
Moderate Democrats warn progressives to disavow Piker, a guy who's on the internet. He's a YouTuber.
I have seen street signs named after literal terrorists.
Literally terrorists? Like, did they write books about these terrorists?
Dude,
because otherwise they're not. Are they
There's
fictional characters?
Multiple pauses on accident have just left her with her mouth wide open. That's not me. That's her. She's spending a lot of time with just a gaping mouth.
And I have watched as the mayor of Dearborn looked at a concerned resident in the face and told him that he didn't belong in the community because he dared raise objections to any of this.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
No, it's not good.
No.
This is a problem. None of this.
If you didn't know, that's a problem.
You didn't know that a public servant telling a constituent that he has no rights is a problem, then she's here to tell you about that.
Literally.
This is normal, and I'm not going to be shamed by Hassan Piker, who is now out there calling everyone who raises concerns about this Islamophobic. I'm not going to be shamed for having enough self-preservation to understand that these things are not compatible with my state.
I really don't like pretty blonde ladies scolding.
She's taking umbrage with the person who has no institutional power saying things on the internet.
Right. She's mad about a guy who's on YouTube and she's on Fox News sitting around a bunch of people that are nodding like, that's amazing. This is an amazing stand for freedom you're making.
They are not compatible with my country.
They're not. What did she say?
Not compatible with my country.
I think she said compatible.
They are not normal, and it is not normal to have a Senate candidate who refuses to disavow any of it.
Yeah, you have to disavow what I say because I'm a Fox News lady. She's just scolding people.
Yeah, but
when did that work? I mean, it used to work when we were younger.
I think we're definitely beyond that at this point. I mean, you don't have to go back that far with, say, Donald Trump running for president in 2016. Wasn't David Duke?
Her name is White, by the way, that white lady.
Of course it is. Didn't David Duke say something like, "Oh, I'm going to endorse Donald Trump"? And
yes, that was a big deal.
Was there a lot of pressure on Donald Trump at the time? Well, you have to disavow, you have to say refuse to take his endorsement or something to that effect. But he just kind of was like, well, I'm not compelled to say anything. That's 10 years ago. So it's only moved further along since then.
We like Donald Trump. He's the good. If you were being optimistic, you would know that we have to hate the YouTube guy that doesn't matter at all. It's very silly to me. All right. While we're sitting here taking a deep breath, folks, I'm just warning you that you might need to turn down your audio if you don't like the sound of loud audio advertisements, which sometimes come on at a different volume. We're pretty mellow here. They might be really hyped up to sell you a Tide Pod. So you may hear an ad for something on the audio platforms, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, etc. right now. And I'm giving you the warning because that's the way we do it. If you're watching on Rumble, give us a like. If you're watching on YouTube and you're having fun with us, give us a like. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate if you do. I appreciate if you do. I think Steve does too. Steve likes talking to people that are out there. That's why he comes out here and makes my Fridays better. If you guys are sufficiently optimistic, then you should also hit the like button on any of those places and leave a comment over on Spotify, KyleSerafinShow.com. Did you know that Doge was lying to us, Steve?
Yes, I did the entire time.
How did you know that? How did you know? The Doge claim of $110 billion saved was vastly inflated and riddled with errors, says a government accounting agency. Doge couldn't verify 96% of the reported grant savings that it made, says the Government Accountability Office. Oops.
Mm-hmm. And they sent
Donald Trump was right about everything, says the Elon Musk hat.
Yeah. They sent the money directly back to the agencies to be spent again. And this is all part of this idea of like, we're going to be so far downstream of the problem that it won't actually make a difference. They're going to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. Like, that's the favorite thing for all the Republicans to say. That's that tagline. So it's lions, tigers, and bears. Waste, fraud, and abuse. Oh my. When, if they were actually interested in addressing the problem, they would say, hey, it doesn't say anything in our guidebook and our manual, like we would for operating a tactical fanny pack called the Constitution, about stealing money from the American people and redistributing it to others, socialist style, so in the form of grants. So let's just not do grants, and we've just solved all the waste, fraud, and abuse.
When Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency launched its effort to slash federal funding last year, it also created a website to show how much money it had been saving the taxpayers. A new review by the United States Government Accountability Office found that the site's claim of $110 billion in taxpayer savings was vastly inflated and unreliable. Government numbers are not reliable. This is impossible, Steve Friend.
Is this on par with the vice president saying that they uncovered a whole bunch of fraud, not recovered?
$320 billion. Yes, they've uncovered it, but they haven't done anything about it because they couldn't get it back. The report found that the Doge could not verify enough information to verify 96% of the reported savings from the canceled grant. Despite the pledge of transparency, the report found Doge did not use its stated methodology to calculate about half of the savings that it reported. They just did what they do in this administration, which is that they report success. They don't need to have success. And that's why you have to have a positive attitude, I think. But dude, why are the groceries still so expensive, you know?
It's this economic phenomenon that Milton Friedman told us about.
It's not hard to think about that famous skit from the Three Stooges when thinking about how our Federal Reserve deals with banks, the federal government. It's a weird thing, right? Kelly O'Grady's got more. Kelly.
Kelly O'Grady's going to get it to us.
Was there a build-up to the Three Stooges, or did he just throw out a complete reference culturally that there was no follow-up on? Because what famous Three Stooges skit was about inflation?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of Three Stooges. I'm sure there is one.
There's a lot of eye poking and,
Who do you think wrote that for him? Because somebody wrote that and he was like, what am I even saying here right now? This is crazy. Kelly O'Grady, can you read something from Milton Friedman for us?
24-year-old who did a White House internship. That's about it.
There she is. All right. Because the U.S. Doge service officials did not respond to requests for information, The GAO could not determine the reasons why Doge did not disclose data quality issues and limitations when the website first went live. I don't feel like this is a new thing. I feel like every single time they brought up Doge, they pointed out that they were unreliable reports. The report found that Doge failed to terminate some of the contracts it claims were canceled. According to the report, $27.4 billion in claim savings was never even executed. And they didn't provide identifying information for another $7.2 billion in claim savings. They just said they did it, but they didn't actually have it. Awesome. They shut down the wall of receipts. I guess it's online. It formally ended on July the 4th, claiming $215 billion in taxpayer savings.
So let's just maximum latitude. Let's just say we take the Doge's word for it. $215 billion in savings, not directly being sent back to the agencies to be spent on something else. It gets returned to the coffers of the Treasury. Congratulations, America. Since July 1st of this year, our government has incurred another $450 billion of debt. More than double that in the last, 40 days? So 2x.
I'm hearing what you're saying, Steve, but what I'm hearing is that you're not saying that in a positive way. Is there a way that you could you just have a positive attitude about it and see if that makes it better? Try that for a second.
Well, let me tell you about how I can put you into a brand new pre-owned Sonata.
Why is it a Sonata? That's a foreign thing. I thought we were going to onshore all of the manufacturing. They get me every time.
Now you're getting negative again.
Okay, listen, can we hire 23,000 more people? Because apparently economists misforecasted and we actually came in a little bit light on. The U.S. economy unexpectedly shed. When someone thinks, have you ever met anybody who lost their job and they were like, what happened? And they were like, I don't know, man. The economy just shed my job.
They just shed me like a snakeskin.
It shed 23,000 jobs in July. It's just a bad month. It just kept shedding these jobs like hair on a golden retriever. It was like having a German Shepherd run through your house. It just lost all this stuff. The U.S. economy unexpectedly shed 23,000 jobs last month.
I think they can't say that they were laid off. It was they took credit for 23,000 more jobs than they should have.
That's always the way it works. Economists
they revised it down for the 25th straight month.
Yeah, every single time. It's incredible. All right. Economists polled by the FactSet forecast employers added 95,000 jobs in July.
God.
The unemployment rate stood at 4.1%. It was down from 4.2% in June. The decline largely reflects slower labor growth. Fewer people are entering or remaining in the workforce. Of course, if anybody's given up, they are not counted in this stuff.
The final year of the Biden administration, during an election year, when they were trying to send that guy back up, prop him up, right? They're going to do whatever they could. They averaged 180,000 jobs a month. We're at half.
Right, but he created that problem by shutting down the economy in 2020 because of COVID, right? Because wasn't Joe Biden president in 2020?
No, he wasn't.
Who was the president?
Donald J. Trump.
But did you say that in a positive way, or were you saying that in a negative way, Steve?
Kind of neutral. I'm the best I can give you. I'm going to give it the old college try. I just need to be more positive. I need to be more positive, and I need to work on my passing SAVE Act, and then let Jesus into my heart, and then everything will be great.
That sounds right. Listen, hiring has gone into reverse. What happens when they reverse the hiring, Steve? What is that called? Have you ever experienced this?
I think it's called shedding.
How did you feel when they shed your job from the FBI? Was that pretty cool?
I mean, I felt a little bit lighter. I no longer had those callous skin. It was like nice baby smooth.
Right. It was like being exfoliated. Hiring has gone into reverse, and the economy actually shed jobs last month. Why do they keep saying this word? It turns out that many of the jobs that we thought were in the previous month never really existed. Who writes this sloppy shit? It's so bad.
I'm stunned it's actually coming from CBS News. I mean, I would understand if it was coming from a reliable mouthpiece. Like
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Listen, here's more CBS News. Are you ready? This is what shedding may. Now, what if those jobs were actually not jobs? Okay. That's the other thing we have to consider. If your job is a business coach, I want to just prime your brain for this, Steve. If your job is business coach, what does that say? What is a business coach, do you think? Because I actually don't know that answer.
It sounds like a consultant, right?
It does.
If you're not part of the solution, there's a ton of money to be made in creating the problem.
Is there that much money, though? If you're a business coach and you're moving in with your mom and your dad, are you really a business coach? I used to live in California when I was younger, before I got into the military, and I'd live in LA and I worked for the movie studio, right? So I was doing financial, boring stuff. It's like a good way to make a living. It's not a good way to make a living if like you're a bit actor in the movies. If you're like a day extra. The people who make money in movies are people who are regularly doing writing gigs, they're doing editing, they're doing, they're running the back end of the studio. They're the ones who are actually the crew. Very few people make tons of money being in movies. A lot of people describe themselves as actors, though. So I'd meet somebody out at a bar and you'd be chatting with them or whatever. You'd meet a girl, you'd like sitting with a group of dudes. Some guy would come up and bullshit with you at the bar. Hey, what do you do, man? Like, where are you from? Whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm an actor. And you're like, oh, really? Anything I've seen you in? Well, I was in this pilot, but it never actually broadcast.
Or a
commercial. And you're like, oh. So then you go, well, if somebody describes himself as an actor, you're like, does it pay the bills, though? Because that's what your profession is that you just listed.
So
and they're like, well,
acting
no.
is a side hustle.
I work at Starbucks too.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're a coffee slinger. You're a barista, there's nothing wrong with making coffee for people. I've worked in service a lot. I have literally no animosity towards people unless you're snooty and you make coffee. I don't like that. But if you're making coffee for people, you're working in a service industry, people come in and they place an order with you and then you create the thing they ask for and then they pay you for it. That seems totally fine. So, but they'd always not want to do that. They want to tell you what they did, right? They describe themselves as something they're not.
Yeah, it's kind of like the special agents who were trying to be like OPSEC. Like, I work for the government.
I work for the government, but I really can't tell you more. It's like, I literally can tell you more. There are classified jobs and I don't have one. Okay, so that being said, this woman is a business coach and a content creator. And she just moved in with mom and dad. That's how good the economy's going. Her job may have been shed. Let's see if we can put this in a positive way. Here we go.
34-year-old Carly Goodrow appears to be in great shape physically, but financially, it's been a struggle.
What do you think those tattoos cost, bro? Yeah, okay.
This one is just super relatable.
This one is super relatable.
Business coach and content creator.
Is there a weirder way? Okay, she's a content creator. She's doing like OnlyFans Lite. Look at the videos. One of them is her running with her boobs hanging out. Anything where she can show as much body as possible. The other one is where she's grabbing her ankles and it looks like softcore to me. That looks like softcore wearing yoga pants. All right, call me crazy. Anyway, she's a content creator. She's a business coach. Here we go.
Has been documenting the ups and downs.
I am 34 years old. I just moved back in with my parents for a few months with my 2 golden retrievers. So,
all right, I got some business coaching for her. Are you willing to help her, you think, too? You should marry somebody and then you can share costs with them and that person should have the job that sustains you. Actual babies. We're going to have to breed our way out of this. Anyway, and your job could be shed and it wouldn't matter. If we didn't have you business coaching or content creation, it'd be fine. Here we go.
This is the room.
This is the room.
And then this is the workspace.
This is my office. It looks terrible right now.
Her IKEA shelf. It's an IKEA shelf. So this is really sad. Actually, this is like one of the saddest things that I've seen because they're actually normalizing this thing. And the segment CBS is doing is called Affordability in America. And they're not going to the root causes. The problem is that she's not getting hired as a business coach. That's what CBS is sort of doing. They have a woman interviewing her, telling a 34-year-old woman who just brought her dogs back to mom and dad's house. Like, hey, the problem is that there's not enough jobs for my whatever thing. As she's out there running around showing off stuff on Instagram, which is not really a job.
When you think about what you imagined for your life at 34, was it this?
That's freaking brutal. Imagine that lady who works for CBS just stabbing this woman in the heart. Okay.
No, definitely not.
She's weeping inside.
Before moving back home.
Dude, that dad is like, I have nothing nice to say, so I'm going to eat a sandwich. That dude looks kind of fit too. He looks like he just doesn't, he's like, why did we agree to this interview? I know, like, honey, I know you need a break so you can crack into the next OnlyFans model or whatever happens next, but this is disgusting. I don't know, but that's a very humble looking house. Like, that's a regular normal person house. Yeah, all of it. I don't either. Oh no, Steve, I didn't realize I didn't have you freaking added to this. So I'm like listening to you talk and everyone's like, what's going on with you? Sorry, I'm going to keep playing. I got to add you back to the scene. I'm a jerk. Sorry, guys.
Carly says she was living with her boyfriend in South Carolina on a $60,000 a year salary. But after they broke up, she couldn't afford to pay rent alone.
To be able to afford that on top of like your student loans, a car payment, it's really hard to function off of anything, I believe, like less than $85K.
According to Real.
Whoa. What did she just say?
She couldn't afford living underneath the national average. 85K is about the national household income average. And she was in a 2-income household living with her boyfriend, right? Living in sin there. And then as soon as that job was off the table for her, then having the 2 failure points made them more vulnerable. And probably
I don't feel good about saying living in sin because that. But I agree with you. I mean, that's what it's called. Although I think I did say that when my wife and I were engaged and we lived together. People were like, what are you guys about? Like,
no, but I mean, that's reflective of the Liz Warren book, right? That the 2-income trap that they were in. When you have the one failure, and look, maybe there was some other mitigating circumstance, but I think money stress is the #1 stress in romantic relationships. She loses her job, and now all of a sudden they have a failure here, and that's put her behind the 8 ball. And earning $60,000 a year should not be putting you in the point where you have to move in with mom and dad. And it's also compounded by all the terrible financial decisions that she's made, but again, has been propagandized into making. How much of the propaganda was she experiencing as a student in high school saying, oh, you have to go to college, you have to take out $100,000, $400,000, $600,000 in order to go get a degree in underwater basket weaving.
Nobody's taking out $600,000 in student loans, are they?
If you want an advanced degree, right? Look, if you want to go to Arizona State and get a degree
that hurts. So
in
influencers, like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. And by the way, guys, if you had heard what I heard in my ears for the video, it was really, really good. But all you guys on YouTube that are like, Steve's muted. It's like, no, he's not even in the scene. I just was sit there laughing. I was listening to Steve's commentary and it was great. But only I got it. So I'm sorry about that. I need to normalize. I have like a bunch of these videos and all the scenes are different. So the video clip, there's like your audio is underneath it on some of them, but not all of them. But I can hear you no matter what. So it didn't broadcast out, which is a sad thing. That's my failure.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yet another proof that I'm a Fed op that Julie Kelly has proven over and over again as she runs her Democrat husband for mayor of Chicago.
Bongino endorsed candidate for office in Chicago.
I think that this actually ties back into that video that we saw that I started off with. The thing that was nostalgia for people, the station wagon, the mom smoking cigarettes and talking on a corded phone, all that stuff. That mom was at home because that's where she worked.
Yeah, the house actually looks similar to that video. It was a humble abode,
it was
right?
Probably built at the same time. That woman that was making sandwiches was probably that mom.
Yes,
back in the day.
Yeah, the age range. I mean, you go back 34 years for her. I mean, that puts her into what, like 1992. So, I mean, you kind of.
That's their baby. That's their youngest. The other ones all launched properly, but they all. And again, some of this has to do with the actual economy being garbage. The other problem is they sold this woman that she could go out there and be a cooter mogging stretch diva on Instagram, and that was somehow a living. There's surveys that have been done that said the #1 job that kids want coming out of high schools and colleges that they want to do online internet, content creation.
Arizona State just started offering a major in becoming an influencer on the internet, which who's teaching that course? Probably this woman. She's probably going to get a job at Arizona State.
She could coach it. So I talked about this last night on the call-in show. What we're doing here is not a real job for almost anybody that does it.
No, it's not a real job for me.
That's what I wanted to highlight. And I'm just going to let you, do you want to tell people what it is? Like, you do a podcast every day.
Yeah.
To keep yourself sane, as far as I can tell, as much as anything else. I mean, it is. We all need a mission, and you have a mission now. But as far as the financial value of that, what does that look like for people? Because other than getting demonetized on YouTube for music, that's do you mind chatting about that? Because this is what this woman is aspiring to do.
Yeah, I mean, and I grind, and I'm try to be contrary to what the accusations are of both of us on Twitter by some boomer woman, like that we're not very professional. I try to be really professional and really buttoned up and do a lot of research. So for a roughly 45 to 50-minute podcast that I do 5 times a week, probably doing 2 to 3 hours of research for every single show. And then I have it set up. I have an entire room dedicated to this in my house. My family knows, like, this is Dad's office, camera equipment, lighting, got the full setup here. I've got a pretty pro setup, better than what she has there, and devote roughly half of my day to that every single day. And, I think probably last year made a couple $1,000s total. And that was via generosity from people doing like Rumble rants.
Have you thought about wearing sort of like very close to the ball, wearing like type shorts, and then just doing stretches in front of a camera in front of you? Is there a market for like a Steve Friend sort of like nut shot?
Well, when the
Instagram?
air conditioning went out in the house and all my total yearly earnings would not have covered it, I did for a minute think like maybe this will be great because I can wear a tank top and ultimately go shirtless, and that could bring in a couple dozen extra views, but didn't come to pass.
If you could put on sunglasses, go shirtless, you could probably get whatever the audience is for Andrew Tate's podcast now that he's in prison for a little while.
I have a running joke with Tracy Beans that we want to get those T-shirts that have like the giant boobs like drawn on them, and we could just wear them and make our podcast highly successful.
People would really like that. You could also do like Magnum PI shorts, though. I think there's if you were just running around in 1980s nostalgia, late 1970s nostalgia, like Hawaiian private investigator.
Skies
shorts.
out, thighs out. Mm-hmm. Like, look.
The point is that this woman is like, she's trying to do a job that's not even a real job.
No, and it's just, it isn't for so many people because there's just so much content that's out there. The competition is ridiculous. And she's in one particular area. You exist in the politics, government sort of news of the day place, but there's comedy, and then there's cooking shows, and then there's religion. There's all these different topics out there. It's like the running joke that we have is like, oh, start a podcast, make 40K. Like everybody's doing it.
Somewhere I still have that clip, I have to imagine, where the guy says he combined all the alpha influencers into one, and so it was his whole day.
And at the end of the day, with his family.
Right. Well, but he was really, really present for those 6 minutes. When I think about the winning, I look at this. We covered this earlier this week, but I wanted to touch it again. I'm sure you saw this. FDA approving the Moderna mRNA flu vaccine. Mm-hmm. Simultaneous to our current government signing off on more mRNA vaccines, which was really a problem for the quote-unquote MAGA and the MAHA people, which brought Donald Trump into office. We're literally just doing the same thing that was being done for the last... Like, this is why I don't know that it makes a difference what the vote looks like.
This is a week after we found out how the government gave $1.2 billion to Pfizer to buy more coronavirus vaccines.
Right. Now, here's the thing. We're going to get justice because there was a vote, and the vote was for what? Contempt?
Contempt of Congress by Anthony Fauci.
What do you think the president has to say about the Anthony Fauci contempt of Congress vote?
Oh, probably a lot about people are saying things and other people have been in trouble and not actually directly say anything about Anthony Fauci because nothing will happen TM.
Well, I'm going to put that to the test in 1 second here. Guys, you may hear an ad on the audio platform, so adjust your volumes accordingly as needed. We'll leave that space right here. And if you're listening on Apple, on iHeartRadio, if you're listening on Podbean or Podchaser or any of the other kind of apps that are out there and you want to see the video as well, join us, KyleSeraphinShow.com, or go to Spotify and search for The Kyle Seraphin Show and share that with a friend if you are so inclined. I'm going to blow Steve Friend's mind with some accurate video. You might be on the level here. Here's Donald Trump talking about Anthony Fauci, contempt of Congress. Is he going to jail? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, they prosecuted Peter Navarro and they prosecuted Steve Bannon, two very decent people, over something that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of telltale signs of similarity. And they went to jail for a number of months over something that I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president, I would have given him a pardon in 2 seconds. But I wasn't. It was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these two people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly. But they prosecuted two people when nothing like that has ever taken place before.
So he's identifying weaponized Department of Justice examples of it through two of his buddies.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I want to do the exact same thing to this guy. And that.
But we're not going to do it because nobody would do that.
Because reasons.
Now, we've been told, and I think Stephen Miller was actually the one who said it, that nobody was harder on Donald Trump. Nobody was harder on Anthony Fauci than Donald Trump. Do you remember hearing that last week?
Well, Stephen Miller would always say Donald Trump's been the hardest on everybody, so I don't remember
That's
that
true.
one specifically.
You know what? Let me see if I can find this, though. Let's see.
Did he say Donald Trump was violently against Anthony Fauci? Because he likes to throw out the word violently when it's completely inappropriate.
The search capabilities of my... Let's see. The search capabilities of my computer are getting less and less capable. It's very frustrating. I'm watching it fall apart as it actually has information on there. Fauci, nothing. Rand Paul, Mike Pence. Mike Pence had some questions, too.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Stephen Miller reframe on Fox News. Let's give this a shot.
Well, I think it's quite the opposite, Laura. If you remember in 2020, it was President Trump, sometimes alone, sometimes single-handedly, who was fighting the corrupt and broken healthcare establishment. President Trump was the one who questioned the origins of COVID. President Trump is the one who questioned the need for requiring every single American to be tested over and over and over again. He's the one who questioned whether we should require children and healthy adults to be subject to restrictions for an illness that primarily targets the elderly and the sick.
But Stephen, Fauci was all over the...
We have, whether it's Dr. Fauci, we have the best people on earth. Anthony, who's become where's Anthony? He's become a major television star for all the right reasons. No, he's just so professional, so good. I'm not firing him. I think he's a wonderful guy. I have a very good relationship with Dr. Fauci. He's got a very good approval rating, and I like that. He was a great basketball player. Did anybody know that? He was a little on the short side for the NBA, but he was talented. I told Tony Fauci, I said, why don't you move to New York, run against AOC. You will win easily. I learned a lot from Tony. He's a good man. I like Dr. Fauci a lot, just so you understand.
The country. But, what was most troubling to me was I lost count of the number of times in the Situation Room where I asked Dr. Fauci if it might be possible that this came from a lab leak in Wuhan. And he assured me over and over again, even with other virologists at the table taking a different view, that it couldn't have come from a lab.
Do you think he lied to you?
I don't know what the source of it was. I wrote about it in my book about 4 years ago, that I always suspected that it came from a lab. I'm troubled by the fact that we haven't, to this day, held China accountable.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's just a mystery. Have you thought about putting that in more like a positive context? That we just don't know, and so it's one of the great mysteries. It's nice to have mysteries.
We're going to have some transparency, right? If you just read Mike Pence's book from 4 years ago, I'm sure it has all of the answers in there.
He had a lot of questions back then, and he has those questions today, and they're all unanswered mysteries. I don't know how you frame that.
Trusted the experts. No accountability. It wasn't like he was in charge of the Safer Federal Workforce Task Force at all. It wasn't like he was given that directive, and then Donald Trump said, you all handle this here because I'm going to, tee it high and let it fly on the golf course down in Mar-a-Lago. And
let me point something else, though, Steve. Do you think that Anthony Fauci lied to you?
Well, I can't say lie because that's been poll tested as being something that the voters don't like. So
people don't
have
like
to
lying.
deflect and say, he was less than honest or misinformation or I don't know or anything about that. Whereas if you were actually an honest person and wanted to call a spade, you'd say, yeah, that little elf lied to all of us.
But is he a good basketball player? Is that true too?
He's probably as good as Barack Obama or maybe even Joe Biden, who was riding a unicycle and juggling knives for 4 years as a human Roomba president.
Do you remember that video where they made fun of it? It was like a Saturday Night Live thing, and they were just like, I was just playing with Joe Biden, and he dunked on me, that old son of a bitch. Like he was a wild man.
So virile. I mean, he's even more virile than the guy who's 75 with a 45-year-old girlfriend.
That guy was really virile. I just feel like I guess it's my fault that I'm just not positive enough. And I don't know how to be more positive, but I'm trying to do it. And I was thinking maybe you should run for office, Steve. If only we could get the 80-year-old women out of office, then you could run for, I don't know, like a governor of a good red state. Do you think that you could do that? Or is it Marsha Blackburn going to end up being the governor of Tennessee?
Oh, Marsha Blackburn's going to be there. You know, the one that was really interested in getting to the bottom of the Epstein files.
Did she get to the bottom of the Epstein files?
Well, Daniel Bongino said there was no there, so I guess she trusted the experts.
That's kind of disappointing because I thought we were going to get to the bottom of it. And the reason I thought that is because there's this dude who was saying who could do it. Who was the person who's in charge of the information on the Epstein files?
It's at the FBI. We don't know exactly
who at the FBI?
Well, can you give me 5 minutes? I got to call Kyle Seraphin and he'll tell me.
All right. Hold on. Let me ask Glenn Beck.
So who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
What?
But who? That is that I mean there's
that's under direct
Who?
NFI.
All right, hold on.
So who has Jeffrey Epstein's
You're on the screen.
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is that I mean there's
that's under direct
Now you're gone.
control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the
Who did they give that to?
Megyn Kelly.
Okay, good.
Catholic school.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said this.
How many operations have you airmailed into, Steve?
If I had to tell you, then I'd violate an NDA.
Okay.
Not getting out because they.
Well, I just noticed this because I've watched this clip a million times, and now I'm looking at weird stuff in the background. There's a lady that's just writing stuff on a blackboard now.
Yes, yeah, that's the Glenn Beck thing. He does the chalkboard.
But yeah, but does he have like a lady randomly do it?
I mean, normally it's an assembled chalkboard. She probably is there, but you see the camera person also from the other angle because they make it look authentic.
This is very authentic.
Do that because this is another government gangster operation.
Why does he say government gangster operation?
Because like Mike Pence, he's trying to sell a book.
Oh yeah, good.
All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a black book.
But the Black Book, it's not just sitting. I mean,
it's literally on the FBI director's desk.
It's not at all. I mean, Kash Patel is 100% accurate about that. The golden handcuffs is a way that the FBI gets its fingertips in something.
Yeah.
But theoretically, the FBI was investigating Epstein, so threatening local jurisdictions with you're not getting your $1 million grant would do nothing in the way of revealing the Epstein book.
But can we also agree that he took that talking point from you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just want to say, because weren't you at the same think tank at the same time when Kash Patel was there and he was taking your information?
Yes, sure was.
All right, good to go.
That's Hoover power times 10.
And
what is Hoover power times 10?
Prohibited access files.
It's Hoover. Here we go.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on.
All right, here it comes. And here's what we're going to get because he won. This is December of 23.
On day one, roll out the Black Book.
Sounds good. What else?
And not just that. On day.
What else?
We got to do Museum of the Deep State.
Okay.
Day one, roll out all of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted. On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber. On day, one of the reforms I talk about in government gangsters is you need a central node to be
times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
Black Book?
And not just that. On day one, roll out all of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted. On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber.
No, that's oddly specific and awkward.
Transparency.
So if we're going to So did they roll out any of those things? Is there a way that I can see the fact that they didn't roll out the black book and they didn't play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber? Is there a positive way that I could see that so I could understand the golden age better? Or do I just have to let Jesus in first, or do we need to pass the SAVE Act for that?
Well, it's kind of hard to prove a negative, but I mean, I guess if you tuned into like Daniel Bongino's new podcast, you probably get lots of positivity about how.
Do you not say 292 after you talk about Daniel?
You know, I like to say former co-deputy director. That's, I think, gives him the proper bona fides and make sure that we've established that, you know, he's just a former Fed who's a subject matter expert.
Do you know what these are?
Those are the cards that Kash Patel sent us.
Do you know what they have on the back of them?
That's the book cover of Kash Patel walking away from Marine One.
That's not Marine One in this picture, though. Steve.
Oh.
Look, hold on.
It's too blurry. Wow. What is
That's Airwolf.
Oh. Have you actually cracked
That's Airwolf. That's I'm pretty sure he was getting out of Airwolf.
Have you actually cracked that open and looked at the cards?
Bro, it's got the seal on it. It's going to be worth something because I'm keeping it in the wrapper.
Well,
it's like these are like my 4-year-old virgin retirement plan.
At the risk of your collector's item.
Yeah,
it might be worth opening it up so you can see who the face cards are in that, where Kash Patel makes himself the king.
Bro, do you have some?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we're going to put pictures online. So for people who are not following Steve Friend, I'm going to put him on the screen right now. You should follow Steve Friend. That's the AMRAD pod if you want to hear that. A multi-$1,000 a year podcast, no doubt.
And then we're healthily into the 4-digit category.
It's a 4-digit podcast. And then do we have I feel like there's also your handle. There it is. I'm like, geez, Louise, where is it? There it is. Steve Friend. So follow Steve Friend on, nice. Professional. Yeah. Follow Steve and you'll eventually get to see the government gangster cards where Kash Patel.
Yeah. Oh, it's rich.
Who else is on there? Hold on. Tease it out.
Devin Nunes is in there.
Who's that? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what Devin Nunes looks like? If you were like, close your eyes, picture Devin Nunes.
He's like less identifiable than Christopher Wray.
Okay.
I think Nancy Pelosi was in there. She's like Joker.
I tried to close my eyes and all I could see was a 34-year-old single lady with 2 dogs living with her dad.
But she's a consultant.
34-year-old Carly Goodrow appears to be in great shape physically, but financially, it's been a struggle.
It's such a bad setup. It's such a brutal setup that they did that. I've added you to the scene now.
Well, especially when that woman from CBS asked her, like, is this the vision you had for your life? Or did you envision something closer to what I do for a living?
Did you think that you would be successful?
Did you think you'd be like me?
It's vicious. I actually do want to finish the end of this video here.
It's really hard to function off of anything, I believe, like less than 85K.
According to Realtor.com, a record 25.2 million adults under 35 were living with their parents in 2025.
Steve, do you see the background of this video?
Yes.
What is going on there? Have you ever carried a box like that?
No, unless it's empty. I mean,
it's empty. No, that's an empty box. But why is he stacking a huge empty box? This is such an unprofessional way to move. People, if you're moving in and you're wearing long sleeves, you're probably already screwed up. But if you're carrying your boxes that way and you're putting anything in boxes that size, let me just tell you from someone who's moved 1,000,000 times, that is the worst tactic. You should have the smallest boxes possible.
On top, yeah, that's terrible moving skills.
That woman has bigger biceps than you, by the way.
That's more than any point on record, including the COVID-19 pandemic peak.
I just wanted to hit you with that and go back to the audio.
Nicely done. All
right, hold on. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out what else is going on here.
Society as a whole has to respond.
Wharton School of Business professor Susan Wachter has been studying this trend.
How old is this lady?
65?
Nah, not with that neckline, not with that gullet. She's got a pelican right there.
Oh, I mean, you're cruel. Maybe she just doesn't believe in cosmetic surgery.
Well, I don't believe in cosmetic surgery either. I also just think that, like, why is she still there? Go home.
Well, those who can't teach. She's teaching. She's at the university.
Fair enough.
It's affordability across the board. It's not.
Whoa! What is happening there?
There was cosmetic surgery. It just went poorly.
Yeah, she didn't not. Oh my God, Stephen what's her name? Susan Washer? How do you pronounce that?
Wachter?
Watch her. I think it's just watch her. Dude, you can't help but watch her.
Just price your home and the mortgage.
You ready for me?
Carly's parents say they welcome the full house. 4 adults.
Oh, I bet.
Dude, that guy looks psyched. Is that the boyfriend? I think we've identified the problem here.
No,
actually.
they broke up. The father just wants to cut himself now, though.
Yeah, he does.
Dogs crossing paths once again.
It was so funny.
Now, Kyle, Carly's brother, was already
Kyle, you son of a bitch.
living at home. He's 33. This is happening before his.
The brother lives there too?
Oh, he's 33?
Dude, hold on.
You ready for me?
Carly's parents say they welcome the full house. 4 adults, 4 dogs crossing paths once again.
What?
It was so funny.
Now, Kyle, Carly's brother, was already living at home. He's 33. This is happening before his sister moved in, but we've got some good news to report. Carly said after being able to save up enough money, she will be comfortably moving out in November. The key word there, comfortably. She has enough money.
Fantastic. I'm sure her parents will be happy about that as well, maybe.
Be happy about that as well, maybe. I love the news. I should watch the news more.
We're very chipper and very positive about that. I mean, if the plan works in 3 to 4 months, then I'll be able to save up enough money from my business consulting side hustle. I mean, maybe she will. I mean, good luck. Good luck. It's tough.
I agree, but also, why aren't we talking about Kyle?
Yeah, that's, well, again, life decisions. I mean, she had that really bad look tattoos. He didn't look like he took personal grooming to be a priority for him. I mean,
a man can have a beard, Steve. A man can have a beard and still be successful-ish.
Yeah, but neon orange hats, that's a no-go.
Unless you're hunting, that is a poor decision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you guys don't watch the news at night, that's what you missed. There's some pretty good eatins in there. Pretty good comedy, I think. Meanwhile, do you know what's really going on? Our FBI director's making friends with Chinese, and then America is getting hacked in the water systems.
Oh.
So by the way, they're blaming Iran. This is actually one of my favorite things. The Chinese Communist Party has been sending people into the United States for several decades, doing what they call visiting delegations, scientists, and so on, visiting American infrastructure. We now have a wave of cyber attacks that are hitting U.S. public water systems. They're hitting other critical infrastructure, and they just believe that it's Iranian-backed hackers because there's a war with Iran. Give me your odds on the Chinese are pretending to be Iranian because it's a plausible cover for action to be able to do all the things they've been able to do for a long time.
90 to 100%.
Damn it. That's what I thought too. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should make a partnership with the Chinese so we can stop the fentanyl, though. What do you think?
Well, only if we share intelligence with them.
Yeah.
And then they allow us to fly in to their country and at the same time, harvest whatever they want off of our devices.
Right. I mean, I thought that was implied. We don't do counterintelligence against the Chinese, right? They're our friends. They're our greatest ally, like Israel.
Well, nobody said it could be done. Certainly no. Everybody said it was a bad idea. But when you
nobody said it could be done. They're like, sir, don't do this. It's a bad idea. They're like, nobody said it could be done. The problem is, and this is what I've realized too, this is our big issue, is that you and I just are not positive enough about the bad ideas. If we had let the SAVE Act pass and Jesus into our hearts, then maybe we'd be fine. True?
True.
You want to do the power fist? Okay, can you slick your hair back and do the peace sign? Do you... Steve is such a champ. All right, hold on, let's get some positivity. I need to feel, I feel like it's probably just my attitude.
God bless you. What's your message to America?
My message to America is optimism. There's a lot of people out there with a negative message and are getting traction because they're being negative. Look at the good side. Look at the bright side. We are in such a great position to take this victory home and set our country up for such success to continue the golden age. Don't give in to the naysayers out there who are saying that there's nothing good going to happen. Because
don't give in, Steve.
I have a really hard time not giving in when the people around him are pulling out their cell phones to take photos of the back of a dude who wears a suit that looks like it's made of bricks.
It's made of polyester by Chinese people.
But they're our friends now.
Right. No, we're friends with them, obviously. How do you take a guy seriously that is looking like he's basically like a younger version of Colonel Sanders? But without the chicken success, without the secret recipe.
So he's like Glenn Beck, but just with like a colored beard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds right. The judge dismissed the reflecting pool vandalism case. This is a big deal because, as you know, if you're going to clean up the country, if you're going to straighten out and start the golden age, what you need is a reflecting pool that doesn't have vandals destroying it with hundreds of feet long cut marks from knives. Did you follow this scandal at all?
Very little, because
why did you follow it so little, Steve?
Because I don't care about
That's not
what happens in the nation's capital. It doesn't directly impact me at all, and it was, for all intents and purposes, a non-story. And it was only a story because they wanted to have the appearance of a beautiful capital for the America 250 Fest, which again I didn't attend because I don't care.
Well, if you did care, you probably could have found the evidence, like this woman who, like the, what was it, business coach and content creator? She's a running reporter and content creator. She's wearing shirts from Spencer's Gifts from the 1990s.
Are they midriffs?
Yeah. And she found the evidence. The evidence that was dismissed by the judge and identified by the Justice Department as being inaccurate. She actually found this. She blocked me after I posted this video, but by the way, it's super fun here. This woman's called as Emily Miller, I think.
President Trump has been telling the public about the very serious vandalism that happened here at the reflecting pool on June 8. While I've known about it since the morning of June 9 when it was discovered, it was only yesterday that I got the visual evidence that I needed to prove the serious vandalism that happened with a knife right here.
With a knife!
The dramatic music.
Dramatic music, and they're slits by a knife, says Trump.
She has an equal number of pauses to the woman that was talking about Milton Friedman on Fox Business.
This is one of the most confusing schizophrenic videos I've ever seen.
Have a
170-foot gash. That is not something you can put on an internet video without a warning. The crew is upset. Finger width gap. Foam caulking. So anyway, so that aged really well because a federal judge dismissed the vandalism case on the advice of the Justice Department.
Because the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia assessed the evidence and said that there was not enough evidence to get to beyond a reasonable doubt that the individual committed the crime.
Yeah, it's a rare win for Jeanine Pirro in my book of standing on principle. Now, if you want to be the Attorney General of the United States, would you have to do that?
What, stand on principle? Or
yeah.
Theoretically, you would, but we have seen examples like Merrick Garland, who says that crimes that happen at night to places we don't like, we can't look into.
So we have an interesting track record there. I'm going to ask you a hard question, Steve. Do you stand with the United States Attorney, or do you agree with the President of the United States? Can you give an answer, or would you try to dodge?
I would say I'm not a communist, which means, I guess, sufficiently MAGA if I wanted to be this Attorney General, right?
You should probably just not answer the question. Let's see if we can get away from that.
I mean, so you've declined to say whether you stand by Jeanine Pirro's decision to drop that case. What message does it send, though, if President Trump fires a U.S. attorney because she determined there was not sufficient evidence to charge 4 people with a crime?
Did he fire her?
I mean, what message would it send us if
hypothetically, if the president chose to fire a United States attorney, it turns out he's allowed to do that because he's the president of the United States. So I don't. And by the way, if President Trump wanted to fire anybody, right, and within his administration, he understands he has the power to do that. So when he makes a decision about whether to fire a U.S. attorney or anybody else, that's his. As far as any message, what I said earlier, Alex, is true, which is that when you look at the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office's body of work over the past year and a half and where we are in this city compared to where we were, they are doing a phenomenal job. Now, does that mean that every case goes exactly the way that President Trump or I want or U.S. Attorney Pirro wants? I mean, of course not. It doesn't. So I think that what you've seen play out in the press with respect to President Trump and U.S. Attorney Pirro is it's all out there already. But I don't think that changes the fact that her prosecutors, her office, what they've done over the past year to to transform this city into a place that we can all now walk around in after sunset is something that's incredible. So,
rate that answer for me.
He is an extremely savvy communicator, far, far superior to his predecessor, Pam
I have
Bondi.
no idea what he just said, by the way.
No. I mean, he was asked a question of, does it set a bad example for the president to get really mad at a U.S. attorney because she didn't bring fraudulent charges against one of the people that made him mad and fires her? And he's like, well, let me tell you about how safe Washington, D.C. is right now.
Yeah. Does everything go the way that we want? No, it doesn't. He did the Zootopia thing. He asked a question and then he answered his own question. It had nothing to do with the actual question. And by the way, when he said, does everything go the way that I or the president wants? The question should be like, what does that have to do with the job of the Justice Department? Are you guys not in the business of fair process and finding truth?
What you want is irrelevant.
The answer is no. They're talking about weaponized government.
Yes.
They just keep doing it. Okay, do you want to get behind the curtain and learn about Donald Trump's quicksand?
Sure. I mean,
listen, when you were younger, did you believe that you would be in more danger from quicksand or from banana peels?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, that's equal representation with like Looney Tunes. Probably quicksand because it seems more terrifying.
It does seem more fatal. Donald Trump is stuck in, not only is Donald Trump in quicksand in this picture, he has only half a head.
Oh, they didn't say quagmire or anything too?
Nope. So here we go. All right, behind the curtain, Donald Trump's quicksand. Watch the economic indicators and watch Donald Trump's inner circle in private. The verdict on his second term.
Three Stooges skit?
There's a Three Stooges skit that most people remember, even though no one remembers it. Do you know what's crazy? What have we been talking about on this program from the beginning? Domestic agenda?
Yes.
Some longtime insiders fear he's trapped by a war that he shouldn't have waged, tariffs he shouldn't have levied, and monuments that he shouldn't be obsessed with.
Being off mission.
Why do these matter? It's almost impossible to see the public suddenly warming to war, tariffs, or more statues. What do you think?
Well,
what if they were really positive about the war and the tariffs and the statues? Could that work?
If the administration was incredibly positive about it, yeah, that would probably bring the audience for the brick suit guy to their way of thinking.
Brick suit fans would like it. Donald Trump's approval rating has cratered to an all-time low of 32% in a Quinnipiac.
Polls fake again, or do we like them?
They're fake now because they're bad. They're even more damning. 68% of voters said that he isn't focused on the problems that most Americans face.
Well, most Americans are faced with the fear about a 47-year war and Iran getting a nuclear weapon.
That's what I heard they were most in. He squandered the GOP's durable political advantage and found voters split on which party is better.
Durable political advantage. How could you use the word durable as a descriptor?
This is an article written by people who are saying words and they get paid by the words and they don't have to make sense, Steve. Just because something is obviously fragile doesn't mean it's not also durable. How dare you? Have you thought about the CPIs is basically just a cheapy ass supercore?
It's an ATM MC, yes.
It's correct. Okay, so this week they found that voters split on which party is better for the economy after Republicans led on the issue for 9 years, going back to Donald Trump's first term. People are now 50-50 on whether Republicans are better for the economy.
Catastrophic failure.
Absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
Republicans still back immigration, right? So
illegal immigration or deportation?
They still back his position on deportation, which would,
with the exception of the 75-year-old.
I voted for Trump. I am saying that they are picking up law-abiding citizens. They're destroying families.
Law-abiding. Yeah, that guy's not into it. Maggie Hammerman estimates that 70% of the president's mind share. That reminds me of the movie Bowfinger. I didn't know. I've never heard the term mind share. Maybe that's a thing. But they had a concept. It was like a stand-in for Scientology in the movie Bowfinger, and it was called Mindhead. And they would just have these people. There were people wandering around in this lobby of this like fancy building, and they'd go, "Welcome to Mindhead, beedle-ding. Welcome to Mindhead, beedle-ding. Welcome to Mindhead, beedle-ding." They just said it like for endlessly in the background. It's a legacy thing. That's what he's worried about. Renovations and monuments. Wait a minute. An old guy who's getting closer to death than he's ever been in his whole life is now worried about monuments and legacy? Say it ain't so. If only he had like a young Jasmine in his life. He could be thinking about the babies he was about to make again. Like the other dude. Look at this. A Trump insider told us he concentrates on the hobbies that distract him from terrible polling numbers, about which he's in denial. Holy crap. That's terrible. The other issue is how war, tariffs, and monuments are demoralizing to the base. Trot out the brick suit guy. Tell him they need the SAVAC and Jesus and positivity.
What are his hobbies that he's focusing on?
Well, you don't know this, but he's actually an avid Civil War reenactor, painter of figurines. He actually just paints little tiny figurines. And
well, we know he likes golf, and they had to go out there and say how he won his 43rd straight club championship.
Not easy to do. Great golfer, great swing. I've seen your swing, Joe Biden. It's not as good. Bro. We keep hearing complaints from the top Republicans about how Donald Trump's reluctance to unleash a $400 million cash that he built up by his super PAC, MAGA Incorporated, he's unwilling to spend now in game-changing races, has been demoralizing to the donors. This is how you do a win. Mm-hmm. There's a saying in politics that campaigns are won or lost in the summer. For Republicans, this was a Trump-induced summer of discontent. Trot out the brick suit guy. Let people know that the expensive groceries have nothing to do with anything except what Milton Friedman said. Ahead of the midterms, he's poured his political capital into another self-destructive fixation. The Save America Act, which would impose national proof of citizenship and voter ID requirements. The Republicans have told Trump repeatedly that the bill has no path through the Senate. They lack the 60 votes needed to overcome the Democratic filibuster and the 51 Republican votes needed to abolish the filibuster. He's also said that he's refused to accept reality, and instead he whips the MAGA base into a frenzy against Senate Leader John Thune and other Republicans who won't comply. Well, there you go. At the end of the day, the 80-year-old man who made the greatest comeback in American political history appears too proud, too stubborn, and too undisciplined to change. Republicans are privately saying. That's what they say.
Well, his political power, I mean, just by virtue of being the president, you have the bully pulpit, you're perceived to be the head of your party. There is power attached to that. You can sort of push on individuals, but that power is diminished the moment that you get away from the concepts and the priorities of the people who put you in that position. And the moment that you pivoted away from the domestic agenda that you promised about, which was all about mass deportations, affordability, defanging weaponized government, Constitution, we're going to make America great again. That is a very domestic agenda, but it seems like we've gotten away from that entirely. I mean, shoot, even the MAHA stuff, we're going to make Americans healthy again. It's been all focused on foreign affairs and intrigue, and then just a bunch of nostalgia. We're gonna have a July 4th celebration, and that will not get you very far when 34-year-olds are going to have to move home with mom and dad.
And their 33-year-old brother's already there because Kyle won't go out and live on his own.
And you are perceived to be, not structurally you're a lame duck, but you're perceived to be on the downslide within the voting base. So the people who are there for a longer time, like the congressional representatives who run forever until they run out of collagen in their skin and it falls off them like Skeletor, they say, well, we don't have to listen to you anymore. You really aren't the leader of the party.
It'd be like if the whole thing was a lie and built on a false premise. By the way, out of nowhere, but do you think that Mitch McConnell is actually dead, or is he going home, like he says? He's not going to do any work anymore, is what he said? No. But he's going to go home and take care of himself. Do you think he's alive?
They got beyond that, what was it, the August 3rd date? So,
it doesn't really matter.
Drip, we'll find out that, oh, no, he's no longer with us. Probably sometime before that 34-year-old is able to move into an apartment.
Yeah, meanwhile, what is it? Kentucky is missing half of their senators. They don't have anything. All right. I'm gonna put this on you before we get to the palate cleanse. What if it was all a lie? Possible? We have a kind of a rare documentary interview that I was able to get a snippet from. And this is actually a member of the 1990s Foot Clan. And he's realizing that maybe a lot of the premise of what he was doing in his youth was actually false. And I think some people in MAGA may get there too.
And then we learn the horrible truth. Everything. The warehouse, the ninja weapons, the arcade games, the turtles, the whole Foot Clan, all of it was so that Shredder could get revenge on the rat that scratched his face 20 years ago in Japan. Like, think about how insane that is. Like, first of all, I'm not even talking about Splinter emigrating to America. Like, forget about that part. Just think about the logistics of Shredder tracking a rat from Japan to America and then finding like one specific rat in New York City. Like, think about that for a second. And then the rat turns out to be mutated to a point where it's practically Danny DeVito size. And oh my God, he's got an army of turtles fighting for him too. And that's when I learned that Donatello was 16. All the turtles were 16. Like, we were kids, they were kids too. And realizing that we were all just child soldiers in this horrible blood feud between an insane Japanese man and the rat that scratched his face 20 years ago. It took me a while to come to grips with that.
So what's the secret of the ooze?
Oh God, you want to know about the ooze?
Well, Vanilla Ice sang about the secret of the ooze, and he was invited to the America 250 Fest. So
yeah, and then they canceled it, and then they had Kash Patel's girl, who is a friend, sing instead.
Oh, well, I mean, we should put Shredder in charge of Homeland Security. He could track down some illegal aliens. He's got some great tracking skills.
Fact. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive stuff. And we should put Benny Johnson in charge of booking the talent. He seems really excited all the time. He seems like he has the proper amount of excitement for everything. Is there anybody that is more excited, more like bricked up for Donald Trump's agenda? You remember how he made housing affordable by introducing 100-year mortgages?
100-year mortgages and duplexes in the suburbs. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go share a house with somebody else. That was probably my favorite moment in my life, was when I realized that the only home that I could afford that wasn't attached to 20 homes was attached to one home. It's like, hey, Washington, D.C. is crazy and gross. So is New York City. What if we could make all America experience that thing? This is the only thing we know here. We just want to share walls with neighbors so that when my lovely neighbor who came and visited me the other day wants to chop onions with, what was this thing, the slap chop?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what it looks like.
The slap chops. Yeah, it's like a little device. It's like a tube that you put your onion in, and it's got blades in it, and the blades spin around and they chop things up in crazy patterns. She used to slap chop on a countertop that was attached to the wall that was attached to my house, because my house and her house shared a wall. Mm-hmm. So I would just hear like out of nowhere, like at 2 PM. I'd be like, what the hell was that? It's like, she's slapping onions, man. She's chopping onions. I text her, are you slapping onions? She's like, oh, can you hear that? Yeah, everybody can hear that in the whole neighborhood, lady. Yeah. Anyway, we want to make sure that we can just all live in duplexes, be super close to our neighbors. That's the American dream now. The new American dream is can you share a house either with your parents or some people that also share a wall?
You can't afford not to live in a triplex or a quadplex.
That's the American dream. But can you say it in a way that's kind of like enthusiastic, like you're into it?
I mean, if I was trying to sell you a brand new pre-owned Sonata, sure.
Did you buy a freaking Sonata, dude? Are you good? Did you end up buying a Sonata? What happened to you?
I did not. But to me, that just emblemizes everything about like the fake Gilded Age. We want the salesman that is there telling you about how, that's not an oil stain. That's just sweat from all the horsepower on your brand new pre-owned Sonata.
I would buy a car from you if you said stuff like that was that. I have a meme somewhere and I sent it to one of my buddies, and it's a salesman and he's slapping the top of a car and he goes, you can fit so much spaghetti in this son of a bitch. it's like, oh, I never thought about that. I never thought about buying a car based on how much spaghetti you could put in it.
Now that you talked about its ramen capacity, I can't afford not to have this one.
How could I go without it? Steve, what are you doing on the American Radical podcast? I'm done. I'm done for the weekend, and I'm going to give people some highly motivating movement music so they can get into their cardio for the weekend. They can work on their fitness. Here we go.
Excellent. You should tune in to the AMRAD pod while you're doing your cardio as well. Once the music runs out, that's going to come to you at noontime Eastern on Rumble, YouTube. I can always head over to Spotify if you happen to miss the live show. Everything at AMRAD pod. Today, I'm going to be talking about the reasons behind that 715 terrorism disruptions that the FBI said. They say foil, but it really means disruption. So I've got some interesting ways that you can actually claim a disruption, because they definitely did not interdict 2 terrorist attacks every single day for a calendar year, to include holidays and weekends, and also have a wild story about a police commissioner who was the wheelman on a gang shooting in New York. So join us there in a few minutes.
I'm pretty positive about doing wheelman stuff for my kids when they have to rob banks, because the American economy is so good. They're like, "Hey, Dad, can you pilot the getaway car?" It's like, "Oh, baby, I used to drive for a living."
Will it allow you to not live with me with your dogs? Because I'm in for that.
Let's go. We're robbing banks and we're getting you out on your own 2 feet. By whatever means necessary. Steve, very good hanging out with you. Thank you for making my my morning a little bit friendlier. And I'll see you next week, bud.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, this is a long outro into your weekend. I say God bless you early, just in case we just decide to end it right there. Follow the show, support the show by following the sponsors that are there. Links in the show descriptions. You guys can always share it with a friend. You might want to cut this one. This is Seth Drums. It's I Am Seth Drums. He's on Instagram. He does a bunch of covers of famous songs in different styles done by AI. Some of it is slop. Some of it is highly motivating. This is like a tribute to Bonnie Tyler. I need a hero. We kind of need a hero right now. We're probably not going to get the one we want. So get ready to do your cardio and have a great weekend.
Bonnie Tyler holding out for a hero, but it's epic dark techno.
Thanks for listening to The Kyle Seraphin Show, streamed live weekdays on rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin. Follow Kyle on Twitter, Truth Social, and Instagram @Kyle Seraphin.